Everyone for this invitation to this distinguished panel. I'm very happy to be here. So for my one PowerPoint slide, I wanted to broaden out a little bit and talk about the upstream influences that lead to antidepressant prescribing in the first place. Many of the other panelists have mentioned in our conversations that frequently a patient will show up who's been on SSRI for years and is pregnant, and now is the first time for the conversation, which is almost too late, in some cases at least, and presents real dilemmas. So I wanted to talk about the upstream forces causing and at least contributing to that antidepressant prescribing, which is often 5, 10, 15 years before that conversation with the OBGYN. This is an image from a 2005 PLOS Medicine article that Jonathan Liu and I published about the chemical imbalance theory of depression, the serotonin deficiency theory of depression, which has been marketed by industry for a very, very long time, definitely since the introduction of Prozac, perhaps before, marketed directly to physicians for a very long time, and marketed directly to the American public through the direct-to-consumer advertisements, the Zoloft ad being the most famous one, being one of the most successful advertising campaigns in the direct-to-consumer advertising realm. In fact, 15, 18 years after it last aired, Saturday Night Live ran a recent parody that looks like a parody of a Zoloft commercial that's from almost 20 years ago. And that's the degree to which this bioreductionistic theory that depression, anxiety, PTSD come from a deficiency of a neurotransmitter, and that an antidepressant such as an SSRI will correct that chemical imbalance. That's the degree to which that story continues to be pervasive in our society. But Adam used the word disruption of the serotonergic system, and all the effects may be interpreted as positive in many instances. That's probably a more accurate term for what the SSRIs actually do. Now, these advertisements you don't see anymore, and perhaps FDA deserves some credit. From between 2007 to 2009, they disappeared. I don't know that we can put the serotonergic toothpaste back in the tube. I don't doubt that in university clinics or in elite practice scenarios that patients are not being told this story. But I teach MSW students, young women, and every single semester I'm waiting for the semester actually where someone doesn't raise their hand and say, I started an SSRI based on this theory, which I was told was a fact by my physician. And it was very recent. In fact, I've noted no change in the last 20 years in the prevalence of people reporting this story. And I wonder if this was just my own anecdotal experience. Just completed, it's an unpublished research project, but data collection is complete. And we did a survey of 1,100 Americans with quota sampling for about 10 different demographics, pretty nationally representative survey. True or false, depression can be caused by an imbalance of neurotransmitters in the brain, such as serotonin or dopamine. Antidepressant drugs, such as Prozac or Zoloft, help correct these imbalances. 88% say yes as of last May. Of the women of childbearing age, 18 to 44, who were diagnosed or treated for depression, 48% were told by their provider that a chemical imbalance was one of the explanations for their problems. In that same group, 63% were offered meds, 43% offered therapy, 40% lifestyle changes. Now, these are self-reports. More research is needed. Always replications are good. But the reputation of these drugs, the social reputation of these drugs as normalizing agents, akin to giving vitamin C in a case of scurvy, basically, is essentially a promotional message that our entire society has adopted. And that conceptually raises the impression of positive efficacy, and it also perhaps minimizes the recognition of adverse effects, because a normalizing agent shouldn't cause adverse effects, right? The Royal College of Psychiatrists in the UK has issued a statement about the chemical imbalance theory. It's not perfect, but it certainly has some humility to it and is something to look at. The American Psychiatric Association has been mostly absent from this conversation. I think FDA could partner with NIH or related partner agencies to remedy this information problem, which has not been solved and remains a pervasive issue.
Welcome, everybody. to True Crime Metrix. You know what I like about Jeff? You know, when all this stuff went down, you know, he could have thrown in his career. He could have gone on book tours, riding on the coattails of Ruth Markel, helping her carry her books to be signed, writing his own book. You know, he could have done a fucking media tour. Nancy Grace, those other shows, you know. Nancy Grace would have probably paid him $100,000 for 3 appearances, right? He could have become an anchor on her show. But no, he stayed true to himself. He's on a panel. He's using big, long science words and talking about stuff that, you know, hardly anyone understands. And for what? For teacher money. For professor money. Nancy Grace is fucking waving that check. Just, you know, he can smell it. Waving that big old check in front, under his nose. And he goes, no, I'm a professor of social work, which isn't even a real subject. That's, you know, useful. You know, I mean, it is, obviously. But it's just not, it's not Harvard law, is it? It's not Harvard law. It's not actual medicine. Anyway, what are we doing tonight? We're going to do a couple of testimonies of Jeff Lacasse. I want to focus specifically on 2019 and 2023. Now, that's the joint trial of Catherine Magbanua and Sigfredo Garcia first, and then moving on to Charlie Adelson's trial, skipping Catherine Magbanua's retrial, which was near enough the same testimony as whatever it was. The only difference was that Krista Coast did the cross-examination one time and Tara Kawas did the cross-examination one time. Turn the mic up, okay? We need to work out a way, you know, because I can't talk and read at the same time. We need like a bell or something. I do have the new mic. I do have the new microphone. I just haven't had time to plug it in. Shall I do it now? Let's do it now. There we go. So what do I need to do? That needs to be on this one. Yeah, you know, what I also got to have a look at was Mr. Hand Grenade, who we haven't seen in quite some time. And his closing argument, I was thinking, well, am I going to do closing arguments again? I don't know. I am going to do George's, but as a Dateline special. Make sure you check that out. But I think we will have to have a look at Mr. Hand Grenade's closing argument, because it's just so funny. It really is funny. Okay. So I'm just turning this up now. So if I switch this, now I am still in a cave echo room, but oh, it's not showing up. Okay, well, I'll work on that. For now, we'll just give it a bit of boost. Let's give it a bit of boost. Microphone, 200% boost. How's that? Is that better, Amy? Amy, is that better? Can everybody hear me? I remember you. You're the one who made my dreams come true a few kisses ago. Is it good? Okay, Christina. Okay, thank you. So yeah, testimonies, Jeff Lacasse 2019 and 2023 comparison. You know, I mean, oh, by the way, that video that we just watched of Jeff on the medical panel, that was filmed on July 21st this year. So that's what it looks like basically now, right? I mean, that was like 3 weeks ago. How incredible is that? That's what we can expect to see. He's got new glasses. He's got new specs. That beard, it's grown in. He's finally a man. And yeah, so that's what we're going to be looking at tonight. Are you ready for trial? Are you ready for an old trial while we get ready for trial? I am. So let's find that video. Welcome everybody in the chat. Welcome to True Crime Metrix.
Everybody be seated, please. Call your next witness, Ms. Copeland.
State calls Jeffrey Lacasse.
If you'd face the clerk and be sworn, please, sir. Raise your right hand.
Swear affirm testimony about giving this case to be true, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
You may proceed.
Sir, please introduce yourself and spell your first and last name.
Yeah, I'm Jeffrey Lacasse, Jeffrey. Excuse me. Last name spelled Lacasse.
How are you employed, Mr. Lacasse?
I'm employed at Florida State University as an associate professor.
All right. What about back in 2014?
I was an assistant professor at Florida State
All
University.
right. And did you have a relationship with Wendy Adelson?
I did.
What type of relationship was that?
We started dating in the fall of 2013. She became my girlfriend around March of 2014.
Okay. And when did that relationship end?
July of 2014.
And when the breakup occurred, was there a big argument that occurred that precipitated the breakup?
We had a argument in late June. She went to South Florida for a couple of weeks, and when she came back, we tried to make things work, and it didn't really work. She sort of cut off contact.
All right. And during that argument when she went to South Florida, was she in South Florida on July 1st, 2014?
I believe she was. I dropped her off at her house on June 29th, I believe.
Okay. And during the course of your relationship with Ms. Adelson, did you ever meet her family?
I did.
Who did you meet?
I met her brother. We went to South Florida for an alternative spring break, went to a Immokalee, and I had dinner with her brother. And I met her mother at her house just very briefly, maybe 10, 15 minutes at dinner. And when I would pick her up and the kids were there with the grandparents, I would have just a couple moments interaction with them. I didn't have a lot of contact.
Okay. And what about Catherine Magbanwa? Did you ever have an occasion to meet her?
Yeah, I went to dinner with her. I believe it was on March 11th when we went over there to meet Charlie.
Okay. So who was present at that meal on March 11th? And that's 2014?
That's correct. It was myself, Wendy Adelson, Charlie, and Katie.
Charles Adelson
And Catherine Magbanwa.
Thank you. What about Sigfredo Garcia? Did you ever have an occasion to meet him?
I did not. I've never met him.
Was Ms. Adelson very close to her parents and her brother Charlie?
Extremely close.
I want to ask you about June 4th, 2014. Do you recall an event that occurred that day that was unusual?
Yeah, I remember a couple of unusual occurrences on June 4th.
Could you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, I had met Ms. Adelson at the Red Eye Coffee Shop in Midtown for a coffee about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We were going to talk about our relationship a little bit. And she canceled a trip we had planned to California to visit my parents, which was scheduled for July 11th to 17th.
All right. And was she acting strangely that night?
Yeah, that night she was a nervous wreck to the point, I couldn't put my finger on why at the time, to the point where she lived kind of way up Centerville where there was no convenience stores or anything close, and I actually took about 35 minutes and drove to a convenience store to get her Pepto-Bismol because she was such...
Don't you just love how he's got it all in his head? He's like, yeah, that occurred about the 17th of April. No, I remember it was the 5th of March because we went to a Immokalee and that was spring break. So, yeah, no, it took about 35 minutes to drive to the drugstore to get us some Pepto-Bismol. You know, if Isom would be up there, I'll have to check my notes. Of what year?
A nervous wreck and had a real nervous stomach that evening.
Okay. And did she ever tell you what the problem was?
No, she's very nonspecific about it.
All right. Were you aware during the course of your relationship with Ms. Adelson about her efforts to relocate to South Florida with the children?
I certainly was.
All right. And was she were you in her life when she learned that the court was not going to permit her to take
No,
the
our
children
first
to
date
South
was
Florida?
September 27th, 2013. So that was a topic of conversation on our first couple of.
You see, what do you think, Michelle? Do you think there's some hairdresser in Tallahassee that, you know, loves the case as much as all we do, and it's just like, Jeff, you're never paying for a haircut again. Sit down, Jeff. You want a pedicure as well? It's free. We're going to give you the best of the best, Jeff. You know, there's a guy when he walks through Tallahassee, people just must be like, you know, giving him new pairs of shoes, and, you know, he tries to pay for a meal. They're like, get out of here with your money now. You know, take some home with you too.
Dates, but it was in the past when we discussed it.
All right. And was Ms. Adelson happy about the fact that she was not able to relocate?
No, she was quite bitter about it, actually.
I was relieved. I was happy at my job.
It was, as I said, a topic that came up, that tone came up on those first 2 dates.
All right. Did she make any statements to you in reference to her brother considering options to take care of this problem?
Tip to anyone out there: if you start dating someone and you go on a couple of dates and they start talking about their ex, and then they start whinging and whining and moaning and complaining about their ex, that's okay. That's okay for 2 dates. If it goes on to 3 dates, skip town, because it's not going to stop.
Problem with her not being able to relocate.
Yes, she did.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Lacasse, when we broke, we were talking about statements made to you by Wendy Adelson about her brother considering options to take care of her relocation problem. What, if any, statements did she tell you to that effect?
Yes, ma'am. On July 13th, 2014, Wendy and I were speaking, and she asked me if she could share something with me confidentially.
Confidentially? Okay, can we do a quick test on this microphone? I can switch it up right now. Who's going to be responsible for this? I mean, everybody, but let's say David. He's a sound man. David, this is the internal laptop microphone right now. I'm going to switch it to the brand new studio microphone in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, change. We're now speaking on the brand new studio microphone, which is from Sweden. How is that, David? Is it good, David? What if I turn it up? No, way up. Or turn it down, down, down. Does that do anything? Is this good? Is it better? Is it better? What does Amy think? What can we say? Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, that lamb was sure to go. Oh, it sounds exactly the same. Okay. Well, it sounds exactly the same, so echoey. It's got better fidelity. Ooh, technical. Okay, well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I'm gonna put some blankets on the wall or something. Then the echo won't bounce around so much. Anyway, we'll roll with this new microphone.
I told her sure. She mentioned, or she said, that Charlie had explored all options to take care of the problem, and that he had looked into having Professor Markel killed. It would cost about $15,000. I later talked to Investigator Isom and said that could have been $50,000. They sound an awful lot alike.
Okay, so you're not sure if she said 15 or 50.
That's right, but I'm confident she made that statement. I just can't remember the exact dollar amount. And she did state that was during the relocation battle the previous summer is when that had taken place.
All right. And the day that she made this,
During the relocation battle the previous summer was when that had taken place. Okay. Before the divorce was finalized, because that wasn't finalized until July 30th, 2013, I think. And of course, you can imagine how fucking pissed Wendy was about that. Because if Dan had been killed before they had finalized their divorce, all his earthly assets would have gone to her by default. There would be no putting the money in trust for the boys and letting Shelley Markel make disbursements. There would be no, oh, well, his 401k has got to go to, she'd have had the house, all his money, all his pension, all his life insurance. Think about it. What a difference that made. Charlie fucking up the hit the previous year. And you tell me she's not pissed at her family? You better believe she's pissed at her family. You know? Everything was in motion. Everything was set up for Dan to be killed before the divorce was finalized. Big difference, big financial difference.
statement to you was July 13th of 2014.
Yes, ma'am.
Did Mrs. Adelson tell you anything about the celebration dinner? Anything about a celebration dinner?
Yes.
Could you tell us about that, please?
Yes. A couple weeks after Professor Markel was murdered, we spoke on the phone, and she had mentioned that her and Charlie had gone to, these are her words, she said, Charlie and I went to what he described as a celebration dinner.
All right. And that was the dinner where she vomited?
That's right. That's correct.
And are you aware, Mr. Lacasse, that Ms. Adelson suggested you as a possible suspect in this homicide?
Yes, I am.
And where?
What do you need to be louder, Michelle? The microphone? Check. Or the video? I can do either, but I need you to tell me.
Where were you when Dan Markel was murdered?
I was on the road to Tennessee. I originally had a trip planned for 11 a.m. on Friday the 18th, and I had, at the last moment, changed my trip to Thursday night. So
you left early?
I left early without...
Oh, thank you so much, Matthew K, for the 10 coffees on buymeacoffee.com/truecrimemetrics. We have to log in and read his message because he's such a gentleman, such a kind man. He was a good man. He was a kind man. Matthew K says, please all like and subscribe or buy a coffee. Very wise words. Almost game time, and we need Metrix well rested, well fed, and well resourced for 3 weeks of Donna Ape takedown. Metrix #1 for the real as Adelson worm analysis. I think I should put this on the screen. This is a very, very wise comment. It's almost like it's been written by Jeff Lacasse. It's that wise and well arranged. Congratulations, Matthew. Comment of the week. Really got to sort out all these images. You want to see this computer? It's a mess. Got to get organized. There we go. Let's read it again. Please all like and share and subscribe or buy a coffee. and buy a coffee. Buy 50 coffees. Almost game time. And we need Metrix well-rested, well-fed, and well-resourced for 3 weeks of Donna Ape takedown. Metrix #1 for the real Ass Adelson worm analysis. Congrats. Good job. Everyone should heed the kind, wise words of Matthew K.
Telling anyone other than the people at the destination. Miss Adelson was the only person I had told in Tallahassee about the time that I was leaving, which was 11 a.m. on the 18th. I had informed her of that in around June 10th.
All right, so originally it was going to be July 18th at 11 a.m. would be your departure?
Yes, ma'am.
And would you be flying or driving?
I was driving.
He would be driving. So is that louder now on the mic? Is that good? Is that good? I think it's good. It's got to be loud on the mic now. I turned it way up.
All right, and it changed to Thursday night, so you left the night before and were in Tennessee at the time of the homicide?
That's correct.
No further questions.
Cross.
Oh, sorry, Michelle. It's this damn YouTube username thing. What is the deal with that? Why has it suddenly gone to, you know how you can have your, like, computer username and then, or you can put your nice, like, readable name? They changed it all up. We don't know why.
Still morning. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning.
Tooth's great, Avocado, Amy. Avocado, California. Yeah, they took it out. Bosh! Which was painful. It was horrible. I've never had a tooth out before, and just the sound of the pliers. Yoink! Yeah, it was rough. But it's so much better now it's out. Plus, they gave me these sachets, which are real good. Anytime it hurts, I just have one of those. Well, 3 times a day, max. But it's going well. I got to have 2 more teeth out. But then they're going to put in some I don't know. I think they're carving me some new teeth out of wood.
Pronounce your last name for me again.
Lacasse.
Lacasse. Okay. Just want to make sure I got it right. Mr. Lacasse. So Wendy Adelson knew you were leaving. Well, you told her you were leaving Friday morning.
Friday morning at 11, we had discussed it because we had some plans that got canceled, so we had discussed it in some detail, actually.
And your plan was to leave Tallahassee and to drive northbound.
Thomasville Road, northeast.
It's a good point, Michelle. Maybe we should make our good friend Matthew K. a mod. Or maybe he's just too damn busy coming up with wise words. So Amy's saying that the microphone is too loud. Sorry for the technical difficulties, guys. I do appreciate the feedback. Is that leveled out a bit? I really wish I could hear it, you know? Hello? Okay. I mean, I can see the little monitor thing, the meter, but yeah, should be good.
Bound, yes, sir.
Sure. Let me rephrase that. I'm sorry. So your plan was to travel north of Tallahassee to Tennessee, correct?
That's correct.
And you told Wendy that, hey, listen, I'm going on this trip and I'm leaving Friday morning around 11 a.m., correct?
That's correct.
And do you recall what time the actual shooting took place?
I believe it was right around 11 a.m.
The same exact time that you'd be leaving the area?
That's correct.
And although it was for a business trip, if people didn't know what your plans were, would you agree with me that it may look like you're leaving the scene if you're traveling outside of the jurisdiction?
That's what I was concerned about, that if I had taken my trip at the scheduled time, I would have looked like I was fleeing, because I would have been driving, I would have taken Capitol Circle to Thomasville and been very close to Professor Markel's house, actually.
And when did you find out that Miss Adelson, Wendy Adelson, had suggested that you may be involved in this?
I suspected it from the police interrogations, but they didn't explicitly say that. Eventually, I was able to view her interrogation video.
And by her, you mean Wendy Adelson?
Yes, sir.
And by interrogation video, you mean interview, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because, as you're aware, she has not been charged in this case, correct?
I'm aware of that. Yes, sir.
And obviously, you haven't either.
Right.
Right. You've been cleared by law enforcement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let's...
Mr. Zanganeh gave the most superfluous performance as a defense counsel that I've ever seen, I think. It was just like, what are you doing? You've been cleared by law enforcement. I mean, he's literally just filling out the time, right? Like, nothing he says has got any bearing on anything. So funny. His closing argument is great. He starts going on. He says to the jury, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're going to be talking about the Sigfredo Garcia house. Not to be confused with the Catherine McBanoa house, or the Charlie Adelson house, or the Wendy Adelson house. Now, it's my job to be the inspector of this house. We're going to check if there's problems with the plumbing in this house. We're going to peel back the wall and have a look at the wiring of this house. It's just like, that is literally what he did, you know? I mean, okay. I'd have drifted off, come back, and thought, are we building a house? Is this like one of those team building exercises where we build a house with people we don't know? Well, it's usually not a house. It's usually like a piece of IKEA furniture. You know, those corporate team building? We're going to check if there's problems with the foundation of this house. Is that audio still popping? I see it going to the red. We can turn it down. We've got full control now that we have our Swedish microphone.
Let's talk about your relationship with Wendy Adelson. You started dating her. Give me a time period.
September 27th, 2013 was our first date.
September 27th, 2013. Let's write that down while we can. September 27, 2013, first date. God, I bet she turned on the charm that day, huh?
And how long would you say that your relationship with her lasted?
Well, there was different phases of it. In that fall semester, we weren't exclusive. It was more casual.
Yeah, there were different phases at it. I mean, at the beginning, she was seeing other people. And then as we moved forward, she started cheating on me. Then she dumped me.
It became more serious late February, early March. So as far as a serious, I'm your boyfriend, you're my girlfriend sort of thing, just March through July.
Okay. So you started casually dating in September of 2013, and it got more serious at the beginning of 2014, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And how did you meet Miss Adelson? How did you guys first have a date?
Yeah, through mutual friends.
Okay, so it wasn't like on a social media dating app or anything else?
No.
Okay. Were you aware if Miss Adelson was participating in online dating?
I think I knew that, I knew that she had dated online in the past. I did not know the time frame.
One of your concerns, okay, so once you guys became exclusive, and by exclusive I mean you called her your girlfriend and she called you her boyfriend, is that fair?
That's correct. And I was involved with the kids at that point and things like that.
And it got to the point where she introduced you to her family, right?
That's right.
And you indicated that there was a dinner where you met Charlie Adelson?
That's right.
Kind of a good-looking guy, right?
Sure.
Right. Works out?
Yes.
When you went on, when you had your double date, where it was you, Wendy Adelson, Charlie, and Miss Magbanua, did you see what kind of car Mr. Adelson pulled in?
I don't recall seeing his car in the parking lot. We then went to his house, so I saw his garage and got a look at some of the vehicles he owned, but not that at dinner.
What kind of vehicles does he have?
Ferrari is the one that stood out to me.
You see, I remember looking at his house at Whale Harbor, which is the house with the hot tub. And, you know, when I first heard Jeff describe seeing the garage and the cars, I expected, you know, a big house on top of a hill, with an in and out driveway and, you know, a large garage area with multiple bays for vehicles. And his garage is like a half size. I mean, it's really just for putting like a scooter in, a moped, something, a motorbike, okay? But you couldn't fit a regular car in there. He's got a driveway with like, you know, two spots. Just it's a little bit confusing.
Do you remember the color of the Ferrari?
I don't.
Did you make any comments to Wendy about the Ferrari?
Well, Wendy used to talk about Charlie having a Ferrari. I mean, that was, she would say, my brother's a character, he has a Ferrari, he has an undercover cop car, he has, I think, a nice Benz in addition, or some luxury car.
So she knew what a Ferrari was, right?
Sure, well, sure.
So it's not like, she didn't say he's got a Porsche and you saw a Ferrari, right?
No, it was a Ferrari, and I actually remember discussing the cost of maintenance with Charlie. There were some downsides to having a Ferrari.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's tough. So pretty extensive car collection, right?
But he had multiple cars, yeah. I don't know exactly how many.
And did you learn what he did for a living?
Yeah, I knew he was a periodontist from speaking with Wendy.
And was that the only night you had direct contact with Mr. Adelson, Charlie Adelson?
That's the only contact I ever had with him that night.
Did he appear to have, did he appear to be intelligent?
He had, that's a difficult question. I just met him the one night. That's a big judgment.
I'll withdraw that. Let me ask a more important question. Was he socialite? Was he drinking that night?
I don't recall if he was drinking. He was holding forth. He was talking a lot. He was confident. That was my impression of him.
He was talking a lot?
Yes.
Did you ever see him go to the bathroom?
I don't recall.
Did you ever see him, was he perspiring more than a normal person would during dinner?
This is 5 years ago. I don't remember. We were outside, and it was, not cool that time of year, but yeah.
Okay, so you're outside in like an open area restaurant?
Yeah, we were at the Yardbird on the patio.
Okay, the Yardbird in South Beach?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hey, Acapella, you historically have had really good ways of putting any comments about the audio. So we're using this new microphone, which I have not been able to test. So we're testing it in a live scenario. So if you notice anything or just leave a comment, that will be helpful.
Did you witness Charlie Adelson doing cocaine that night?
I did not.
So this is a guy who's in South Beach, right? Drives a Ferrari, right?
Yes.
What had Wendy previously described him as having a lot of girlfriends?
Sure.
Handsome guy, probably could get attention of women.
I would presume so.
But your only face-to-face meeting was that dinner, correct?
Well, that dinner, and then we went back to his house and hung out in his hot tub for a little while, but that was it.
And during that time that you went to his house to hang up in the hot tub, did you see him ever go to the bathroom, or was he ever outside of your personal space?
Yeah, I think all of us were in and out of that hot tub at various points because we were sitting there a little while.
At any point did Charlie Adelson, now, look, you're a law professor, correct?
Professor of social work, actually.
Correct. Okay. I'm sorry.
Do you think Charlie Adelson is the kind of guy that would piss in his own hot tub while other people are in it just because he gets some sort of like sick power kick out of it? Like, you're sitting in my piss. I bet he is. I bet he so is that guy, you know?
You're a professor at the university, correct? I apologize, not law professor.
Yeah.
You're an educated person, correct?
Sure.
You'll agree with me that a layperson wouldn't solicit you to commit a murder, correct?
Objection. Argumentative.
Sustained.
I'll re-ask this. Did Charlie Adelson ask you to kill Dan Markel?
Did Charlie ask me?
Did he ask you?
No.
Of course not. And
Mr.
I apologize. I'll withdraw the of course not. And you'll agree with me that at no point did you give him any reason to believe that you were someone that would do such a nefarious act, correct?
No.
When the prosecutor
so-
asked you about
Hey.
June 4th, 2014, you recall that?
Yes, sir.
And you said that you guys were at the Red Eye Coffee Shop, right?
That's correct.
And around what time was that?
I had a hair appointment at 2 or 3, so it was at 1 or 2.
I had a hair appointment at 2 or 3. Of course he did. He probably had 3 hair appointments a week to look that good, right? I had a hair appointment like usual, like I do on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays every week. Yeah, I had another hair appointment again. I had a hair appointment. We can tell. It looks fantastic.
And so in the early afternoon,
Could have been as early as 12:30, sir. I mean,
12:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 4-hour hair appointment. So I was there for sure from 12:30 to like almost 6.
So around 12:30 on June 4th, 2014, correct?
That's correct.
You indicated that she was and by she I mean Wendy Adelson, that she was acting unusual.
That's correct.
Would that be a fair assessment?
Yes.
Did you ask her what was wrong?
I did ask her what was wrong. It was very non-specific. That happened with Wendy quite a bit with it, where she was upset and there was not an exact name put to why.
Was she upset often?
Yes.
Would she get these kind of physical reactions often, that her stomach would hurt or that she would ask you to get her medicine?
I got to know her better in the spring, so I saw more of it than I would have in the fall. That was the only time I can recall that was not an average thing. I think that's why I remember it, because it was unusual.
And you said that you drove about 35 minutes to get her medicine?
Yeah, it could have been 25, 35 minutes, but where she lived was not convenient to run to the store, so it was a discussion like, do we want to do that? It's all the way down there, and she was so nervous. I thought, no, I'm going. So
Did she go with you?
no, she did not. She had the kids that night, so she stayed with the children.
Did she make any kind of doctor's appointments shortly thereafter, to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge.
Now, you indicated that you guys became boyfriend and girlfriend at the beginning portion of 2014. Is that a correct statement, sir?
Yes, sir.
And when would you tell the members of this jury that your relationship with her ended?
Well, that's a little complicated. On July 14th, we went on a date. And when I got home, she had sent me an email saying, I need a week to think. Please don't contact me for the next week. And so that was the Monday before Professor Markel was killed. And then we didn't talk for maybe 10 or 12 days after the murder. So I assumed it was, internally, I assumed it was over, that night. When you get an email like that, you're probably figuring it's over. But in subsequent phone calls, she acted as if it was.
Yeah, I remember that, Michelle. That was horrible, wasn't it? It was like, can we maintain focus, please? This is not salon chat. Okay. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We love learning about hair.
Still a slightly open issue, and we closed that down by phone calls. That obviously we're going to move on here.
Did you ever question her loyalty to you in your relationship with her?
With regularity, yes.
With regularity.
And
with constant regularity, with absolute infinity constant suspicion, and but well founded. Not paranoid, controlling suspicion.
when you say with regularity, when did you first become suspicious? Now, let me ask this question first. You were concerned that she was seeing other men, right?
I was.
Okay. And when did you first start getting this concern?
Probably March, April timeframe, I started to wonder. So not too long after we became a couple, I guess what I was wondering is, have we really become a couple, or is she still doing what she was doing before?
Was it like, did you find like text messages or direct messages on social media that made you kind of go, what's going on here?
No, I didn't see any text messages or anything on social media. Her behavior was just erratic. She would disappear. She would get home very late at night. So there were signs like that.
Would you talk to her about it?
I tried to.
Okay. So let me ask it this way.
Yeah.
Did she understand that you were concerned about her being loyal to you, or your relationship being a monogamous one?
To be completely honest, I think we kind of pussyfooted around that until we had that big fight at the end of June. That's what that argument was about.
Let's talk about that big fight.
Yeah,
Michelle.
sure.
Why don't you walk the members of the jury through what happened?
Yeah, I had taken Wendy to Gainesville with me. I was teaching in the off-campus program at UF for the weekend, so I took her with me.
I'm sorry, was it just you and her, or did she bring the kids?
No, it's just me and her.
So like a romantic getaway to Gainesville?
Well, work/pleasure. I teach during the day. She works in a coffee shop. We have dinner with friends at night, that kind of stuff. It's a nice area down
Sounds
there.
nice.
Yeah, it was nice. And weekend started off fine. The Saturday.
Hang on. I just want to hear him describe remarkably.
I'm sorry, was it just you and her, or did she bring the kids?
No, it's just me and her.
So like a romantic getaway to Gainesville?
Well, work/pleasure. I teach during the day. She works in a coffee shop. We have dinner with friends at night, that kind of stuff. It's a nice area down
Sounds
there.
nice.
Yeah, it was nice. And weekend started off fine. The Saturday night, we sort of got into it over this stuff. I confronted her about the fact that I suspected that she had been seeing other men.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Yeah. The whole trip to Immokalee, where I work during the day and she works in a coffee shop during the day. Is that what she told you?
So you're at dinner?
We were actually up in the hotel room. The night was basically over. It was pretty late. It was 9 or 10 o'clock at night when this discussion happened.
Okay. And had she had any alcoholic beverages at that point?
We both had, but I think just 1 or 2 glasses of wine a couple hours earlier.
Just socially with dinner, maybe?
Yeah, that was.
Okay.
There was no more drinking than that.
And did you say, listen, I think this, that, or the other? Did you have any specifics, or were you just giving a vague, I'm concerned about where this relationship is?
The latter. I was pretty specific. I told her I was very concerned. I was particularly concerned because the way she had framed our relationship was, you're not just becoming my boyfriend. I have children. I'm a mother. It's like I was auditioning for the job of husband and father is actually sort of how it felt in retrospect. So I bonded with the kids pretty tightly, and as you can imagine in a relationship, that kind of discussion gets more complicated when you're serious and there's kids. And she had been talking about me moving in. She had told me not to buy a house. She had told me not to buy a Jeep, that I needed to buy a vehicle that 2 car seats could fit in. So
So it sounds like you guys were heading down that path.
Yeah, hence why I raised the issue, because I had some intuitions that everything wasn't quite right. Her behavior had been a little erratic, and I was worried about moving in and ending up in a really bad situation, actually.
So would it be fair to say that she was saying the wrong things, but her actions were speaking louder than her words?
That's not a bad summary. I was getting two very different messages based on behavior or what she was speaking to me, what she was saying. Yeah.
Did that argument or that discussion, did you feel it the next morning?
What do you mean by feel it, sir?
Was she acting any different the following morning?
Oh, the next day was probably the most awkward car ride I've ever had in my life. We rode from Gainesville to Tallahassee. She was crying. I was very upset. It was a very awkward 3-hour drive.
It's a 3-hour drive from...
3 or 4, however long it is to...
Okay, from Gainesville to Tallahassee, however long that was.
Yeah, exactly, sorry.
And this was in June, you said June 20...
That would have been June 29th, that's the Sunday, the last Sunday in June.
2 weeks later, on July 13th, Wendy tells you, or Wendy has this discussion with you that the prosecutor elicited, right?
Yes.
From June 29th to July 13th, would you say your relationship with Wendy after that awkward, that long 2 or 3 hour, 4 hour, however long it is, from Gainesville to Tallahassee, emotional car ride, right?
Yes.
She's crying,
Yes.
upset,
Yes.
and I would assume, well, let me strike this. Did you believe that she was upset? Because like I said, she was saying all the right things, but she wasn't acting like she was talking.
It's very complicated, and she was all over the place, to be frank, in that at one point she was confessing, at one point she was saying, I never did that. She was saying she couldn't remember some things I wanted to talk about, which was frustrating. So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No worries. You said she was confessing. Was she admitting to potential talking to others?
What did you get a timeout for, Michelle? I saw you earlier in with the Stephen Webster video. What did they time you out for? I'm just going back through the comments. I mentioned TJ on the LYK channel said he was defending Wendy as usual. I was put in a timeout for 30 minutes. I was furious. I'll bet.
Other men?
More than talking the night before when we were having the argument, but it was,
What was she saying?
you know, it was a heated discussion, so I don't remember every word of it. But at points, she kind of let it slip out that my concerns were well-founded.
Okay.
And then 5 minutes later, she would say the opposite. And when I've had to explain the story in the past, I've had to say it doesn't sound like it makes sense because she was just all over the place. She was hysterical, really.
Okay. So would it be fair to say at some point she admits to talking to other dudes, I apologize, to talking to other men, and then shortly thereafter denies what she just confessed to?
Well, then that repeat as needed on the car ride back, she was like, I never did any of that stuff you taught. I don't know what you're talking about, which was kind of crazy making for me because she had confessed to some of it the night before.
Okay. So from June 29th till July 13th, would you say you were fixing the relationship at that point? Was it getting better or was it getting worse?
It's hard to tell because on the 29th I left her house and I didn't see her again until July 13th. She went to South Florida for those 2 weeks.
Did you guys talk on the phone?
We talked on the phone once in a while. We did some video chats. I talked to the kids via video chat and things like that. But it was very up in the air where the relationship was going to go. I would get a mixture of messages, verbally and by text.
Would you agree with me that your level of contact with her between June 29th and July 14th was less than it was before?
Oh, it was minimal. It was minimal. Days and days would go by at points without us talking on the phone at least. I may get the random text or something, but we weren't talking a lot.
And then on July 13th, Wendy, in essence, tells you that her brother, Charlie, had looked into hiring a hitman to kill Dan Markel.
In 2013, yes, sir.
In 2013.
Yes.
What was your reaction to this?
It was in the context of a relationship discussion. It kind of just blurted out when he has a habit of blurting things out that are kind of tangential or whatever. And so I didn't know what to make of it. My stomach kind of flipped. It was like a chilling statement. And then we kind of ended up talking about the relationship again, and so I didn't give it a lot of thought at the time. It was just like a crazy thing that someone would say, you know.
Okay. Very crazy thing.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. Did you take that statement as a threat to you? And let me kind of clarify this. She indicated that because of her bad relationship with Mr. Markel, correct? And you'll agree with me that they had a bad relationship, correct?
That's how she characterized it.
You'll agree with me that she said, based on a bad relationship, that her brother had looked into hiring somebody to kill him, correct?
Well, that was specifically about the relocation, is
Okay.
what she said in that statement. I know they had bad blood otherwise for other reasons, certainly, but that was specifically tied to the relocation battle being lost. That was what prompted Charlie to look into it, according to her statement.
This conversation that you had on July 13th, where was it?
It was in her house on Aqua Ridge.
Was anybody else around when she made this statement?
No, sir.
Did you contact any of your friends after this conversation and discuss the fact that Wendy Adelson had indicated that her brother had looked to hire a hitman?
In what time frame?
Okay, so on July 13th, when the conversation's over, do you stay there that night?
No,
You left.
Mr. Hand Grenade's not even got a handle on his own question. I mean, Jeff's like, in what time frame? And Hand Grenade didn't know. He was like, well, let me ask it this way. Oh, he's funny. I do quite like him, though, in some way.
He ended with me telling Wendy, if this isn't going to work for you, you can text me and we can just break up. I don't want a big thing, like confrontation. And I left for the night. I did not stay.
Do you have like a family member or a best friend that you talk to about personal issues?
I have several, sure.
Okay. Did you call or contact any of them on the way back to discuss what had transpired about? And I'm not talking about the breakup.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm sorry. I am talking about the breakup.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you call your friends and go, hey, listen, it ended with me and Wendy?
It's summertime, and at FSU, a lot of these people were out of town. Some of them were even overseas, so there was less contact than there ordinarily would have been. But I'm sure I discussed the fact, well, not that night because it was so late. What I remember is the next day when I get this email saying, don't contact me for a week, I certainly shared that with friends because I found it really frustrating and surprising and thought it was weird.
Did you share with any of your friends the comment that Wendy Adelson made to you with regards to her brother and the murder for hire?
Yeah, I'm sure I did. I just couldn't tell you who or when I did that. But certainly, after the murder occurred, certainly I shared that with people. I also shared it with the police the first day they brought me in.
Right. So you were interviewed by law enforcement in this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
During your interview with law enforcement, did you mention this statement?
I did.
Okay. Did you tell it was Detective Isom that interviewed
It
you?
was him and Investigator Hale.
Okay. Did you indicate to them who you had shared this information with?
I don't know that I was asked to.
Hearsay.
Judge, it's not for the...
Overruled.
Can you restate the question?
No worries.
Yeah.
So when you tell them what Wendy told you about her brother's murder for hire plot, did you say, yeah, listen, I spoke to my buddy, because the murder happened on the 18th, correct?
That's correct.
And so 4 days prior to that is when you got that breakup. Was it an email or a text message?
It was an email.
Okay, so you get a breakup email. And so you call your friends, which is normal, right?
Sure.
And you indicated just a few minutes ago that you probably mentioned the murder for hire to some of your friends, right?
At some point, I just don't know when.
Okay. What about, was that before or after your interview with law enforcement?
Was what before or after?
Your discussions with friends.
Well, after I had told it to the police, I certainly discussed it. I'm confident. I may have done it before as well. I don't recall that. But after I told the police that, I did share that with some people confidentially, yes.
Now, she told you, and by she I'm referring to Wendy Adelson, during your July 13th conversation, that he had looked and the price was either 15 or 50,000, correct?
That's correct.
So it's either one or the other, correct?
Right.
And would it be fair to say, based on your testimony, that she said that that price was too high?
No, she didn't offer any further context or explanation. It was kind of a thing that was blurted out, and then literally 20 seconds later, she started talking about something else, and I can't recall what that was. I think it was the relationship stuff that I was very focused on.
So out of nowhere, she tells you Charlie was going to go look to hire a hitman. It was going to cost $15,000 or $50,000, and you don't go back to that.
I don't know that it was out of nowhere. I believe preceding that was a discussion that if anything ever.
This isn't really discussed enough, is it? You know, Wendy doesn't do that kind of thing by error. You know, it's by design. So what's the design? Well, there's some obvious things that it could be, but there's multiple things it could be. Hey, Soap, do you want to stop panting? Maybe go over there. Here you go. You can have this. You can have this bone way over there. Thank you, Soap. So she might tell that to Jeff, so that when Jeff speaks to police, he looks crazy because he's like, "It was the Adelsons. She told me about a hit." And they're like, "Oh, it was the Adelsons, right? Yeah, that must be it, Jeff. It was that well-to-do dentist, yeah, that lives 400 miles away." Okay. And then, okay, that's... I can't think when you're panting like that, Soap. Go in the other room. So she might also want Jeff to know about the hit so that when he tells law enforcement, they're like, you know, it's another finger pointing at Charlie. But if that finger came from Wendy, she wouldn't want that. Of course, she's going to deny it was said. I mean, it's hard to know for sure, isn't it? There's not enough to work with. What do people in the comments think?
What happened to Danny, she would have moved to Miami. I think I've spoken to the investigator. I asked him about that previously.
And listen, I have to ask Mr. Lacasse, at no point did you contact law enforcement after you heard of this threat so they could contact Mr. Markel to see if there's any need to protect him in any way, shape, or form?
I didn't.
Give me 1 second, Your Honor. Good night. Just a few more questions, sir.
Sure.
Would I be correct or incorrect in assuming or in saying that you were interested in having a monogamous relationship with Wendy Adelson?
I thought I had a monogamous relationship with
And you wanted to keep it, correct?
Depends when you're asking.
On July 13th, 2014?
Yeah, that's how. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's right. That's right.
I'm sorry to ask such personal questions. I know it's difficult. Did you think it's unusual? Well, let me ask this. At some point, did you ever see a picture of Dan Markel?
Sure.
Do you think that there's a resemblance between yourself and him?
Everybody always says that. When I was dating her, no one ever brought it up. I see it from the pictures. In real life, I was never told that.
There is a resemblance. I mean, they've both got that kind of loaf of bread head. You know what I mean? Like if you saw that on a shelf, sandwich bread, white sliced bread. That's the kind of head we're looking at.
While we were dating.
And as you indicated before, you're also a professor?
Yes, correct.
Do you feel wronged by Wendy Adelson?
Do I feel wronged?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
No further questions.
I think that was Mr. Hand Grenade's best question overall. Do you feel wronged by Wendy Adelson? It's good because it's archetypal and it's got a wide field of available interpretation, right? It's an alarming question, but it's still something that you can go in multiple directions with. It's a good, great question.
Dr. Banner?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good morning.
Christopher DeCoste.
The questions I'm about to ask you are about the investigation into you, not that we believe you're a suspect, okay?
I understand.
You would agree with me at the beginning of the case in July 2014, there was a thought that you were a potential suspect.
That's what I've been told, yes.
You were contacted by the police.
I was.
You came in, you were interviewed.
Yes, I came straight from my trip into the TPD station.
3 separate times you were interviewed, right?
Yes.
Now, they didn't handcuff you at gunpoint and drag you into the station, right?
No, they asked me to come in, so I came in.
Voluntarily went in.
Yes.
You told them what you knew. You explained the information, right?
Yes.
Eventually,
Christopher DeCoste is so slick. He's such a, he's got so many parts where he's a good lawyer. I don't know about overall, but that question there. And you came in quietly. You came from your trip. They didn't handcuff you and drag you in off the street, did they? It's a valid question to Jeff Lacasse, but of course what he's doing is using his question of Jeff Lacasse to say, my client, Catherine McVanoa, was handcuffed at gunpoint and dragged in off the street, you know. He's very good at that double purpose thing. That's a great thing to have if you're a lawyer.
you helped them get bank records to show where you were. It was in Tennessee, right?
Yeah, I believe it was cell phone records and a receipt from a Kmart that had surveillance video of me, was my understanding of it.
So they get your bank records. They see a transaction at a Walmart, right?
Yeah, credit card records, yes, sir. Yeah.
There's then a receipt. And then they go actually to the Walmart, get their surveillance footage that shows you there.
Yeah, it was a Kmart, but yes, sir.
And then you were cleared.
That's correct.
You would agree with me that they objectively investigated you.
Yes.
Now, had they not gotten the...
Jeff's like, fucking Walmart? What do you think I am, a millionaire? It was a Kmart. I'm saving for a house. You think I shop at Walmart with all the other exclusive elitist professors that I work with? That's where they go to blow all their money. I go to Kmart.
bank records, the Walmart video, or anything like that, one could paint a picture that you were involved. Just the fact that you left town right when the murder happened and you had this connection.
Well, except that I wasn't in the state at the time of the murder, so how could I have done it? So that's...
What we're talking about here is that somebody could paint the picture
Okay.
without all the evidence.
Yeah, if they don't have all the evidence, sure.
Let's go to something you said on direct talking about June 4th.
Yes.
And you appear to have a very good memory of all the instances. You said that Wendy had the kids on June 4th, the night of June 4th.
Yes.
You spent a lot of time with Wendy, spent a lot of time with the kids. You knew their daily schedule of the boys, right?
I knew not so much because I usually got there in the evening, so at the time I would know what days she had the kids, but as far as pickup times and things like that, I usually saw them at the end of the day. I accompanied her just a couple times to pick up the kids, so I don't want to sound like I'm an expert in that because I'm not.
So June 4th, she has the kids. The next morning, June 5th, she would have taken them to Creative Preschool.
She would have, but I never stayed over there, so when the kids were there, so I wouldn't have known that because I left at the end of the night if the kids were there every time.
That would have been consistent with the custody setup that she had with Dan Markel, correct?
Yeah, depending on what the days on the schedule were, which I don't recall. I used to know that. I don't anymore.
It wouldn't have been that he'd come and pick them up at her house and then bring them over to Creative Preschool.
I never saw that kind of scheduling anyway.
So it would have been consistent with on June 5th, she would have dropped the kids off.
It would have been consistent if I don't have any primary knowledge of what she did on June 5th.
Let's talk about Charles Adelson. Understanding that you didn't have a close relationship with him, you did meet him and you hung out with him.
Yeah, for a few hours.
To you, and I'm going to use your words, he seemed like somebody that hung out on both sides of the tracks, right?
That's the way he presented himself in that hot tub. Yes.
And you took that to be accurate.
Yes, I took his self-presentation to be accurate. That's correct.
During the day, he's wearing a lab coat or scrubs, whatever dentists wear, right?
Right.
And then when he's off work, he's going out, he's hanging out at the gym with less savory people.
Yeah, that was sort of his characterization. I was sort of repeating what he said. Yeah.
In your words, less savory
Well, not less
individuals.
savory, gritty. I don't remember his exact words, but gritty, something like that. I don't remember his exact words, but
Gritty.
Yeah, that's how he presented himself in that hot tub. It seemed to be almost a braggadocio kind of thing, like, look at me, I'm on both sides. Yeah.
And you took him to be a street smart guy.
I did.
He had friends that were ex-special ops.
Yes, that's what he said. Yeah, that's what him and Wendy said. Yeah.
His gym friends that to you almost came off as nefarious.
Well, yeah, and I don't remember the details at this point, but he was talking about deals they were doing. There was a lot of hinting and innuendo. But yeah, you're accurately presenting how he presented to me.
Let's go now to the dinner on March 11, 2014.
Sure.
It was outside, it was on Miami Beach.
Yeah.
If you remember, and you may not, do you remember seeing a pickup truck with two gentlemen outside of the restaurant watching you guys?
No.
Let's go now to July 14th, 2014.
Okay.
Now, you had met Catherine McBanwa several months prior to that.
Yeah, I met her in March.
So March, April, May, June, July. Wendy is opening up to you and saying what her brother had looked into doing, right?
I think you're talking about the 14th. You're talking about the 13th, I think.
July 13th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So July 13, 2014, she's talking about her brother hiring a hitman. She's giving you incriminating details, right?
Yes.
Never said anything about the involvement of Catherine McBanwa, right?
No, it was 3 sentences, so no, she didn't.
All right, let's talk about now the options that he looked into doing to take care of the problem, right?
Right.
On direct examination, the state attorney's office asked you what year it was. But there was more specifics to that. It was specifically the summer of 2013, right?
Yes, it was attached to the relocation, so whenever, it was after relocation had failed, where she'd been denied the motion for relocation.
But I want to make sure it's clear because we didn't have the full information from
Yes.
direct examination. What Wendy told you is that her brother looked into hiring a hitman in the summer of 2013.
That's correct.
And that would have been before he even knew Catherine McBanwa.
Yeah, I don't know when they met, but if you say so.
One brief moment, Your Honor. No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Redirect.
Mr. Lacasse.
Yes, Your Honor. The breakup email on July 14th, 2014, I know you had some phone contact after that, but was that basically the end of your relationship?
That's the last time I ever saw her.
Okay.
We did have some, it was in August. It was after, we didn't talk between then and after the murder.
Okay, and you
talked
never got back together and resumed your
Oh,
relationship?
no.
No further questions?
All right, did you ever have a question of this witness? Write your question down, we'll go sidebar.
Okay, well, we're waiting for questions. We'll go to Debbie Gibby's email. We'll pull up the photograph of Wendy and what's that guy called? Man, I cannot wait to get to the vet tomorrow. She's just like scratching and panting. It's like too much. So that image is here. There it is. Talk about fucking multitasking and for 8 fucking hours. Can I just say, oh my god, you motherfucker. Oh, it's flipped around. That's weird. How did I do that? Oh my god. So! Enough! I am so fucking against this bullshit that people do nowadays with their own kids, with other people's kids, blocking out the face. It's ridiculous. Oh well, they're helpless victims, and you know they don't need to be. No one's victimizing them. Who's victimizing them? Why are we blocking out their faces? What is the deal with that? I mean, they're like grown-ass men. I mean, I know they're not of age or anything, but like, why are we blocking out their faces? I'm really curious to see their faces. Does anyone have an idea of this? Like, what is the need to block out their faces? Anyway, thank you, Debbie, for the image of that disgusting woman. What's this guy's name? I saw his Amazon thing. Someone tell me the guy's name. George, right? George, what? Does anyone know? I want to play his Amazon video. It's really bad. He's as bad a public speaker as Wendy. He's not even in public. He's speaking to a camera. Come on, somebody tell me his last name in chat. Debbie, you got a name for the guy, or it's George Stephanopoulos, maybe? Is that what it is? George Torres. Estrada, thank you. On the Mountain just bought a coffee. Thank you so much, On the Mountain. Everybody should buy, you know, I mean, yeah, like everyone should buy a coffee on buymeacoffee.com. That's what we call crowdfunding. Look at this freak over here. I mean, what the fuck is this guy?
Hi, my name is George Estrada, and I'm a strategist for the nonprofit team at Amazon Web Services. A question I often get when developing a cloud strategy is on whether one should think of a move to the cloud as a
Hang on.
staff
Whoa.
reduction.
It's only a short video. How's the audio? Is it enough?
The short answer is no. Hi, my name is George Estrada, and I'm a strategist for the nonprofit team at Amazon Web Services.
You know who he looks like? Do you remember Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom? Who was the baddie in that? He had those eyebrows and a shaved head. Indiana Jones and was it the Last Crusade? No, Temple of Doom, wasn't it? Who was the antagonist? Yeah, look! I've got an image. Molaram. Whoa! I mean, come on. That's exactly right. Let's bring up another one. Nice pick, Wendy. You see? All right, let's play the rest of his video.
A question I often get when developing a cloud strategy is on whether one should think of a move to the cloud as a chance for staff reduction. The short answer is no. Moving to the cloud is not a one-step move that ends with the migration into the cloud. Instead, it's an element of a broader strategy that is laying down the foundation for scaling, automation, and innovation. So rather than looking at a move to the cloud as staff reduction, see it as an opportunity for a role optimization. Arguably, the most critical resource in your organization is your staff. The trust they've earned with customers and the institutional knowledge they have gained over the years is irreplaceable. Moving to the cloud allows you to amplify your existing staff's experience by leveraging the scores of managed services available from cloud providers and partners. You can free up your staff from low-value tasks, allowing them to focus on tasks that deliver actual value and impact to your members and their overall experience. A 2019 survey by IDC found that moving to the cloud increased existing staff's productivity and could be valued at an annual average of $85,000 per every 100 users, or about $3.5 million per organization. So I recommend that as you develop your cloud strategy, you include role optimization and or repurposing as a value of the digital transformation effort. Ask your vendors and partners how their managed service offerings add value to your staff and your customers. And if you'd like to reach out to me, you can email me at the email below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you as well, George. Indiana Jones called. He wants his hat back. So Wendy Adelson has been sucking on that guy's ding-dong. Wow. And she was only 5 years old when that movie came out, The Temple of Doom. What's with the blue sunglasses and purple accented dress? I mean, if you're going to wear sunglasses like that with a blue shirt or maybe a white shirt, nice summer blouse, but not with a fucking purple floral dress, a Jackson Pollock dress. No. Fucking moron. Yeah. So did we finish? Oh no, we had questions from the jury, didn't we? We had questions from the jury. We'll go to the questions.
A series of questions from the jury. The email, the July 14th, 2000.
Oh, hang on a second. Just while we're finishing up, this George Estrada guy. What's the deal with that presentation? Supposedly that guy is high up the corporate ladder. He's the appropriate age, build, so on. I mean, you know, what substance was in his... And it wasn't like Jeff on the panel where we listened to it and he's going on about stuff that we don't understand because we're not medical professionals. I mean, I could probably piece it together. But, you know, he's talking to a room of people that are learned in his field. I'm not one of them, you know. But with George's presentation, we should have been able to know what the fuck he was talking about. And it wasn't because he was doing science. No, it was just he was really bad at speaking. And why is he whispering? That was terrible. I mean, it was really, really, really bad. Worse than Wendy's public speaking. So what's the deal? And what the fuck is he doing with Wendy? He's like a cyborg, isn't he? What did Anne say today? She said, oh, I can't remember. I'll have to look it up.
14 email was that on a FSU website or a private website? Do you have any recollection?
I think that was from Wendy's Gmail account.
Okay. What about to you?
Oh, that would have been to my Gmail as well.
Okay. So the answer is no, it was not on an FSU website.
Correct.
Okay.
To the best of my recollection, yeah.
Okay. Did Ms. Adelson indicate that she wanted to relocate to have the children full time?
She didn't talk directly about relocating because she knew that was no longer a possibility. But the other side of that coin, how unhappy she was in Tallahassee and how frustrated she was by the child.
California avocados not having any of Wendy's dress sense. Good on you.
Were issues that came up, if not every day, every week, that came up very frequently.
Okay, so that was actually the next question about, she frequently spoke about the divorce and the custody battle.
Yes, consistently throughout the entire relationship.
And did she appear distressed when she didn't have the children with her?
Sometimes, yes, yes.
What kind of vehicle were you driving back in July 2014?
I was driving a 2004 four-door silver Nissan Sentra.
Ms. Kaplan?
No further questions.
Garcia? McBanaway?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank
All
you.
right, you can step down. Do we need to keep this witness any further?
Judge, I'd like to release him to go about his business, but I'd like him to remain under the rule.
All right, you can remain under the rule of sequestration, so don't discuss the case with anyone, but you're free to go about your business. You have a phone number for him if you should
Yes,
need
sir.
it. All right, thank you. You may step down. Call your next witness.
Stephen Lutz.
Okay, we don't need Stephen Lutz. We're going to go to 2023. We're going forward. We're going forward in time. 4 years. We're going to get a little bit of Rashbaum here. It's going to be fun. God, I'm actually gutted we're not going to see him. I mean, maybe he'll be in the gallery. Standby counsel. When Georgia eats Zellman and Fulford alive, spits out their bones, Rashbaum's gonna stand up on one of those little step ladders that fold out, you know, that double up as a stool, kitchen step ladder.
Please raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
You may take your seat.
Please introduce yourself and spell your name.
My name is Jeffrey Lacasse. Sorry.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Jeffrey
How are you employed, sir?
I'm an associate professor at Florida State University.
How long have you been with FSU?
I came back in 2013. I was also there from 2000 to 2008.
Have you always lived in Tallahassee?
No, I'm from California originally. I went to Phoenix for 5 years from 2008 to 2013. Really loved Tallahassee, so when I got a tenure track job here, I was excited to return in fall of 2013.
Did you have a relationship at some point with Wendy Adelson?
I did.
What was that relationship?
We met in the fall of 2013. Apologize for my voice. I'll just get a little water.
You can have water.
We started dating in the fall of 2013, September 2013. We dated casually in the fall and more seriously in the spring and summer of 2014.
When did the relationship end?
Well, that's a little tricky, but basically July of 2014.
All right, we'll walk through that a little more
Yeah.
in detail. During the time that you were dating Ms. Adelson,
Is that me?
I don't know, maybe we need to move it.
Do I just about the right distance here?
I'm not sure. It's me, but.
Wow, that was a good catch. Daphne said maybe those are her new contacts, referencing Wendy's blue sunglasses. Wow, yeah, blue.
Back it up in here. I know, it's hard to get right.
Yeah.
All right, so during the
I love it when Charlie Adelson stretches in court and yawns. I mean, stretch and yawn in a fucking murder trial. You know, really arch the back, bring your wrists up above your shoulders. Just a full yawn, a full breath in front of the jury without covering your mouth, you fucking twat.
time that you were together, did you become aware of Wendy Adelson's recent divorce from Dan Markel?
I did. On our first several dates, that was the primary topic of conversation.
And were you aware that this was an unusually nasty divorce?
Yes.
During the time that you were dating her, did you become aware that even subsequent to the divorce there was ongoing litigation pending?
Yes.
Did you know Dan Markel?
I met Professor Markel. I did not know him. I probably spent 10, 15 minutes in his presence across the course of that relationship.
And were you specifically familiar with the litigation concerning Wendy Adelson relocating with her children to South Florida?
Yes, that was a topic of conversation.
You see, Georgia wouldn't be seen dead with blue sunglasses. You know, what does she have? You know, she has those solid gold aviators. Not gold-plated, solid gold.
If you know, did Wendy want that relocation to take place?
Yes, on our second date, the topic of relocation and being stuck in Tallahassee came up, and the date was ended abruptly when she went to the bathroom, returned with tears in her eyes, and just left the date because she was so upset. That was about two and a half months after it was denied.
All right.
And it continued to be a topic, but that's...
But that issue seemed to be specifically what was upsetting her on that day.
I think we should make him Greek. Colorado, yeah. Yeah, in fact, I think we should just call him Stavros. Stavros Estrada. You know.
Definitely, she left the group date suddenly because it came up.
All right. And did she have family in South Florida?
Yes.
And what family was that?
Well, her brother, Charlie Adelson, Harvey Adelson, her father, and Donna Adelson, her mother, were the ones primarily that I heard about.
Were you also familiar with the litigation seeking to limit the exposure of Wendy Adelson's young sons to her mom, Donna Adelson?
Yes, in spring of 2014, yes.
And did you observe Wendy to be taking that filing seriously? Did she seem stressed or worried about it?
Every filing she took seriously, and she was stressed. I reported to TPD that every time a motion was filed, it affected our relationship because she's very upset.
During the time that you were in a relationship with Wendy, did you have an occasion to meet her family members in South Florida?
I did. Well, I met her parents mostly up here. So I met Donna and Harvey Adelson probably 8 to 12 times up here. I met the defendant down in South Florida one time.
All right, so you only met Charlie Adelson one time.
That's correct.
When was that?
That was the evening of March 11th, 2014.
And had you already met the parents several times at that point?
Yes, probably 6, 8 times at that point, maybe more.
So they came here quite frequently?
Yes.
What about Catherine Magbanowa? Did you meet her?
She was present at the dinner that I attended on March 11th, where it was myself, the defendant, Wendy Adelson, and her went to dinner that evening, March 11th.
You're saying the defendant. Do you see the person in the courtroom
Yes.
that you had dinner with? Who's that?
That is Charles Adelson, known to me as Charlie.
Could you point him out and describe what he's wearing?
Yeah, he's sitting in the center of the defense table, wearing a light blue tie and a navy blue sports coat.
All right. And so Catherine Magbanowa, how was she related to this family or affiliated with the family?
I was introduced to her as Charlie's new girlfriend, essentially.
And was it your understanding that this was the first time that Wendy was meeting Catherine Magbanowa as well?
That was my understanding. She was excited about Catherine Magbanowa. That was my impression, yes.
All right, so anything unusual happened at the dinner?
Well, at the dinner, Miss Magbanowa mentioned that she had I guess it was her ex-common law husband, who had a criminal history that sounded very serious, and I did raise my eyebrows at that.
Did Charlie Adelson seem disturbed or upset by Catherine Magbanowa mentioning that?
I don't recall him seeming disturbed, no.
All right, what about after dinner? Where did you go next?
We went to Mr. Adelson's home, and we sat in his hot tub and had a few drinks and talked for a little while.
Who's the we that sat in the hot tub?
Yeah, myself, Wendy Adelson, Charles Adelson was in the hot tub for a while, and his then roommate, Dr. Jerome Obed.
All right, so Dr. Obed was living with Charlie Adelson at that time?
That was my understanding. It was his roommate, yeah.
All right, and where was Catherine Magbanowa at that time?
She did not accompany us back to the house.
In the hot tub, did the defendant make some statements that were of interest in this case?
Yes.
What were those?
Judge, objection, motion to eliminate. Verdict.
There he is.
More specific questions. Adelson in the hot tub mention anything about having connections?
Yes, he did. He mentioned having contacts on both sides of the tracks, meaning dentists, lawyers, professional class people, but he also had people he knew that were a criminal element, yes.
And did you get more specific about anything about these people that are the criminal element?
He mentioned specifically, I repeated it to DPD, about Cuban neighborhoods where you might find that criminal element.
Okay, so he had connections to those type of people.
That's what he said,
And
yes.
what was the context of this? Was he just seemed scared about it, worried about it, or something else?
Seemed to be bragging.
I want to ask you about a meeting with Wendy at a coffee shop that occurred on June 4th, 2014. Do you recall that?
I do.
What happened at the coffee shop?
we went to the Red Eye Coffee Shop to have coffee, just to meet midday, and Miss Adelson canceled a trip that we had planned for July 11th to 17th to go see my parents, which was a big deal in the relationship, and she abruptly canceled it.
Did she offer an explanation as to why she needed to cancel the trip?
Not one that made sense. She said that she feared that we would not get back in time, and she emphasized, had to be back on the 18th to pick the kids up out of school, which would have been July 18th, 5 p.m., is my understanding. And I couldn't fathom why in the summer going through Atlanta you wouldn't be able to get back in time. It didn't make any sense to me.
So she was worried you could be delayed and she wouldn't be able to pick the kids up.
Right, and we had people who could babysit. It didn't make any sense at all, but that was what she said. That day was very important.
All right, and so that occurred on June 4th.
It did.
All right, did you see her later that evening?
I did. Went to the house to hang out with her and her children.
And is that her residence on Aqua Ridge?
Yes, ma'am.
And how was she that night? This is June 4th, right?
It is.
Okay.
She was a nervous wreck to the point where she was sick to her stomach. Asked me to get to her house as soon as possible. She was in that much distress. And she didn't have food poisoning or flu or anything obvious. She was just a nervous wreck. So I went to her house, immediately went to the store to get her Pepto-Bismol and a couple of things from the convenience store. I have the credit card receipt, is why I recall that so specifically.
And did you have any idea why she's acting? I assume this is unusual for her.
It was fairly unusual. The degree of severity was definitely unusual. But that whole week, June 4th to 9th, she was very nervous. So.
And she didn't tell you it was because killers were in Tallahassee to kill Dan Markel, did she?
No, I was stunned to later find out that there was hitmen in town at the time.
Okay. So let's go forward a little bit to this TV situation. Do you know anything about Wendy's TV being broken?
I do.
And when was the TV broken, if you know?
Between June 11th and 18th, I think it's closer to the 11th, but 100% in that week.
And how do you know it was in that week?
Because we rented a movie, How to Train a Dragon.
Well, hang on a minute. I mean, when Wendy was asked about the Uvia dinner, what was she asked? No, not the Uvia dinner, sorry, the Yardbird dinner with Katie and Jeff and Charlie. What was the question she was asked? Whatever it was, she answered the question by saying, it might have come up if I was mentioning the TV was broken. Oh, the joke, Charlie Adelson's joke. Georgia asked, did it come up, or maybe it was Rashbam, I don't remember who asked her, it was in Charlie's trial. Did it come up at the Yardbird dinner, Miss Adelson, that Charlie had made the joke? Did he tell the joke at that dinner in front of Jeff? That was the point. Or in front of Katie. And Wendy said, it might have come up if I was mentioning the fact that the TV was broken. The Yardbird dinner was in March. But on this occasion, Jeff's testimony, we're talking about his perceptions and memory. So I guess essentially both could be true.
To give the kids a special movie night, and I have text messages where I'm discussing having seen the movie by the 18th with friends.
So you were able to refresh your memory?
Yeah, I was able to refresh my memory. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so do you get the movie, or?
Well, it's back in the day, it was Redbox, so I rented a DVD from a Redbox. It was 2014.
All right, and go over there with the movie, and what happens when you arrive?
I walk in the door, and Miss Adelson asked me to look at her television because there's something wrong with the television.
And what was wrong with the television?
Well, I turned it on, and I was immediately confused because it really shouldn't have been a question. As soon as you turn the TV on, it's been struck by an object and is damaged and basically unusable.
Can you explain what the damage looked like?
Yeah, it looked like somebody stood in front of it, took their fist, and hit it like that was my first impression.
Kind of like a shatter mark with spiders.
Yeah, there's like an impact crater, and then there's, out from that, and it's all pixelated and distorted, which makes it very difficult, or really no one would watch this TV unless you had to. And I had second thoughts about that. I looked around the room, maybe the kids broke it, so I looked all around the room, and it didn't seem plausible that the children broke it. They're very small. This object had to be kind of heavy. I'd thrown a ball around with them. I just couldn't see how the kids could have done it.
But you didn't see how it got busted.
I didn't see it. I didn't know for sure, and I didn't know we'd be discussing this in a murder trial, so I didn't investigate further or think about it very much, to be honest with you. I just thought, okay.
Were there other TVs in the house?
There was a TV in the back bedroom, a similar make and model that we had watched television with the kids before on that TV before, so yes.
Is that where you watched the movie that night?
No, I went to go hook up the DVD player in the back room. Miss Adelson insisted that it would not work and actually stopped me from even trying. So thought that was very odd, but I didn't want to argue, and it's her house, her TV, her kids, so I said, okay.
So did you watch the movie on the broken TV?
Yeah, we gave the kids movie night where we watched a movie on a broken television.
How strange is this? And he's pretending to enjoy it. She's insisting, no, we have to watch it on the broken TV, and we have to make the children watch only half the picture on the broken TV. All the good stuff's happening in the other part of the picture. What was the movie called? Was it that one where Kelsey Grammer plays an eagle? What's that called? It's about birds.
Distorted enough that you could follow what was happening, but the kids are whining and crying the whole time. And I wasn't whining or crying exactly, but I was tempted to because it was pretty frustrating. And I just didn't understand, what was going on. And of course I had related that this TV is broken, it's unwatchable, it's not covered by warranty, you're gonna have to get a new TV, and I offered to go do that for her anytime she wanted. She's a busy single mom. I'll run by Best Buy, get you a new TV. It was not like an 80-inch TV or something that was really that luxurious. It was a TV like you'd see in a dorm room, so we could have replaced it right away.
All right, did you end up getting a new TV?
No, she turned me down several times on that offer, and again, it's her house. I tried to respect her boundaries, and I said, oh, okay. But it was inconvenient because after dinner, it's nice to be able to put the kids in front of that TV while you clean up the dishes and stuff. And it sat there being an inconvenience for a while.
All right. I want to ask you about, when is Ms. Adelson's birthday?
April 22nd.
Okay.
Earth Day.
I've got this out of order. Let's skip over that for now and go to the big fight in June. Ms. Adelson mentioned that there was a big fight toward the end of June. Do you recall that?
Yeah, that's the weekend of June 27th, 28th.
Where were you when that fight occurred?
We were in Gainesville. Ms. Adelson accompanied me for a work trip. We had that scheduled for a while, and she accompanied me on a work trip, and we ended up having a pretty big argument Saturday night in the hotel.
And did that have to do with you accusing her of seeing other men?
That was one of the issues. There'd been a lot of tension bubbling. That was the major issue. But just to give that some context, I suspected very strongly she was seeing other men. Of course, your office had confirmed recently to me that there was multiple online active dating accounts the whole time we were supposed to be exclusive. But just to give context to that, that was combined with Wendy promising me the world in June. Talking about me moving in. Shouldn't get a Jeep, you should get a car, the kids' car seats will fit in. The kids should start calling you daddy was the most outrageous one. And so she's like throwing herself at me over the top in a way that felt totally disingenuous and fake. And at the same time, I think she's seeing other guys. So it just kind of boiled over. I tried to have like a serious, honest relationship conversation with her, and that didn't go very well.
So you were kind of, at least up until all of this started happening, you were kind of full steam ahead, and it seems like she was a little stop and go, hot and cold. Is that
It was a roller coaster, is what I would say. And I had felt since April that I was perhaps being strung along. I had that intuition. I couldn't fathom a reason why you would string a guy along like that. It didn't make any sense at the time.
All right, so we're in June, like 28th range?
Okay.
Okay, when do you come back from Gainesville?
The morning of the 29th, after this fight or this argument, we drive back. We drive back to Tallahassee. Now, I had another ride back, and I offered to take that other ride if the fight was that bad, because we could have broken up after this. That was, but she wanted to ride back with me.
You rode together?
Yeah, we rode together.
All right, so you rode back together, and then was she leaving that day?
I believe it was I thought she picked up the kids the next day from Professor Markel's house, and that's when she met Amy Adler, and that was a big deal to her.
Amy Adler was Dan's girlfriend at the time?
Yes.
Okay, so it's at some point after the big fight and the return from Gainesville, does she leave to go to South?
That was a big deal to her. Yeah. Yeah. We could tell that from her interview.
Yeah. A day or two later, she definitely leaves to return to South Florida. She's in South Florida by July 1.
All right, and was that the trip that she was there for her dad's birthday?
That's correct.
Did you attend the dad's birthday?
No, I was never invited to the dad's birthday.
All right, and were you aware what the big gift was for dad's birthday?
No.
All right, so when did you see Wendy next after she leaves to go to South, or I guess after you return from Gainesville?
So during that 2-week period, we're exchanging emails, texts, long phone calls, video chats with the kids. Things are up and down, but it seemed like it's probably going to be okay. That's the impression I was given by Miss Adelson. Or I was being strung along 2 more weeks. But I see her again on the 13th when she comes back in town and is excited to have a date with me. So we had a date.
All right, so now we're at July 13th, 2014.
That's correct.
So within a week of the murder.
That's right.
Okay, tell us about your interactions with her that day.
Yeah, we went to dinner and a movie, and we returned to our house on Aqua Ridge.
All right, and did she tell you anything asked to tell you anything in confidence that evening?
Yeah, in a very serious tone of voice. The topic of conversation as we're walking up to the house is about relocation, being stuck in Tallahassee, and Danny, as the conversation always was about, Danny Markel. She said in a very serious tone of voice, "Can I tell you something in confidence?"
Objection, Your Honor. Motion eliminated.
Now, Ms. Kaufman, do you understand the court's ruling?
I think I do, Judge, but asked to approach.
Please approach. The bailiff is going to escort you out. Mr. Lacasse, you can step down from the witness stand for now.
Okay.
Please step back outside. Everyone can be seated. Bringing up both the motion in limine and the prior order that have been issued on this matter. The ruling that was made as to the defense motion in limine concerned the state eliciting this as a part of its case in chief. However, Mr. Rauschbaum, at this point, Ms. Adelson has specifically denied making this statement. Why is this an improper ground for the state to explore this on impeachment?
It's still hearsay, Your Honor. It's double hearsay. It's not done.
All sorts of matters that otherwise would be inadmissible can become impeachment.
Judge, if Dr. Adelson, Charlie Adelson, made that statement to Mr. Lacasse, and he denied it, he could impeach him. They're impeaching another witness. That's not allowed. That's number one. Number two, I brought up
The
this issue.
impeachment of one witness's testimony through another is not allowed?
But they're impeaching her to go to his statement. They're stuck with her answer. They could have kept on cross-examining her of why they thought her answer was wrong. They can't now backdoor it through.
I've forgotten what the question was. What was the question?
Hearsay in another witness. That was the whole point of the motion. Similarly, Judge, we brought this issue up first thing this morning, sidebar, because if they were going to be allowed to do it, I was going to ask Miss Adelson other questions on this issue. They said they weren't going to do it. So I didn't ask her those questions. And I didn't ask her those questions because I didn't want to open the door to it. And I can't call Miss Adelson back as a witness because she has a Fifth Amendment right, and I can't give.
Okay, I think we owe it to Daniel Rashbaum to go back and go through this a little carefully. This is quite interesting for the format and rules of court. So the question was...
Things are up and down, but it seemed like it's probably going to be okay. That's the impression I was given by Ms. Adelson. Or I was being strung along 2 more weeks. But I see her again on the 13th when she comes back in town and is excited to have a date with me. So we had a date.
All right, so now we're at July 13th, 2014.
That's correct.
So within a week of the murder.
That's right.
Okay, tell us about your interactions with her that day.
Yeah, we went to dinner and a movie, and we returned to our house on Aqua Ridge.
Dinner and a movie, Jeff? Yeah, I think I've heard that one before. I mean, can't you do something? You know, it's not 1967. Dinner and a fucking movie. I have never been to dinner and a movie. Dinner and a movie. Well, I probably have, but I regretted it deeply. What happened? Jeff, why don't you, you could do anything. You could go to Go Ape. Everybody loves Go Ape, right? It's probably called something different in the States. You know that thing where you go in the trees and you go from tree to tree and there's a harness and, take her to Go Ape.
All right, and did she tell you anything asked to tell you anything in confidence that evening?
Yeah, in a very serious tone of voice. The topic of conversation as we're walking up to the house is about relocation, being stuck in Tallahassee, and Danny, as the conversation always was about Danny Markel. She said in a very serious tone of voice, "Can I tell you something in confidence?"
Do you think Wendy Adelson was sat next to Jeff Lacasse in the movie theater while the fucking movie was playing and just leant over and whispered in his ear, "He's filed another motion. This time he's going after my mother, that fucking Markel. He's finished, I tell you, finished." Halfway through the movie.
Motion to eliminate.
Whoa. I missed it again. Daniel Rashbaum just has this knack of popping up like a leprechaun with a pot of gold.
Murder.
That's right.
Okay, tell us about your interactions with her that day.
Yeah, we went to dinner and a movie, and we returned to our house on Aqua Ridge.
All right, and did she tell you anything asked to tell you anything?
All right, so it's going to be about the... Okay, so the issue is, well, let's just wait until Rashbaum's objection.
In confidence that evening.
Yeah, in a very serious tone of voice. The topic of conversation as we're walking up to the house is about relocation, being stuck in Tallahassee, and Danny, as the conversation always was about Danny Markel. She said in a very serious tone of voice, "Can I tell you something in confidence?"
Right, okay, so the thing that Wendy's going to tell Jeff, that Jeff is going to say that Wendy told him is that Charlie looked into hiring a hitman last summer. Wendy's denied that, and Charlie hasn't denied that yet. So Daniel Rashbaum is saying that if he tells the court what Wendy told him, that would be hearsay. But the issue Daniel Rashbaum is having is not that it would impeach Wendy's testimony, but that it would go further to elude that Charlie looked into hiring him. It is a bit of a strange one, isn't it? Let's see how it lands.
Motion made. Now, rule, Ms. Kappelman, you understand the court's ruling.
I think I do, Judge, but asked to approach.
Please approach. Dan Markel is going to escort you out. Mr. Lacasse, you can step down from the witness stand for now.
Okay.
Please step back outside. Everyone can be seated. Bringing up both the motion in limine and the prior order that has been issued on this matter. The ruling that was made as to the defense motion in limine concerning the state eliciting this as a part of its case in chief. However, Mr. Ralph Baum, at this point, Ms. Adelson has specifically denied making this statement. Why is this an improper ground for the state to explore this on impeachment?
It's still hearsay, Your Honor. It's double hearsay. It's not done
All sorts of matters that otherwise would be inadmissible can become impeachment.
Judge. If Dr. Adelson, Charlie Adelson, made that statement to Mr. Lacasse, and he denied it, he could impeach him. They're impeaching another witness. That's not.
So if Dr. Adelson made that statement to Jeff Lacasse could be asked about it and say, that didn't happen.
Allowed. That's number one. Number two, I brought up
The
this
impeachment of one witness's testimony through another is not allowed?
but they're impeaching her to go to his statement.
Are they? That's what I have a problem with. If Wendy says, I never said that to Jeff Lacasse, and Jeff says she did say that, it still doesn't, even if we believe Jeff that Wendy said that, it doesn't necessarily, well, it doesn't prove that Wendy could have just said that without it being true. So how does it go back to Charlie?
They're stuck with her answer. They could have kept on cross-examining her of why they thought her answer was wrong. They can't now backdoor it through hearsay in another witness. That was the whole point of the motion. Similarly, Judge, we brought this issue up first thing this morning, sidebar, because if they were going to be allowed to do it, I was going to ask Ms. Adelson other questions on this issue. They said they weren't going to do it. So I didn't ask her those questions. And I didn't ask her those questions because I didn't want to open the door to her. And I can't call Ms. Adelson back as a witness because she has a Fifth Amendment right and I can't give her immunity. I brought this up for this very reason. She denied the statement yesterday. That's why I brought it up today. They can't backdoor a double hearsay statement based on a denial by that witness. Can't do it.
Ms. Kappelman.
It's not hearsay offered first impeachment, Ms. Adelson was specifically drawn to the time and place of this statement after she made it, denied it. This witness heard her make the statement. And I need to listen to her testimony.
This is not an insignificant fact or an immaterial one. Mr. Rauschbaum, if you wish to find some authority, I will give you 5 minutes to look if you have anything to argue as to this matter. Ms. Adelson has denied making the statement. She can be impeached through other witnesses regarding this matter.
Judge,
I will give you an opportunity to find some authority. If there's something more specific you can point me to other than what you're arguing right now.
Judge, I brought this up this morning so that I could front it with Miss Adelson, and we were told, you were told, that they weren't going down this path. If I'd been told something different, I would have done something different that I can no longer do. It's precisely why I went sidebar first thing in the morning.
What is your response as to that portion of the argument, Ms. Kappelman?
That's a legal argument. I was asked if I was intending to offer double hearsay. I said I would never be offering hearsay without an exception.
I assume he's making this on fairness grounds, which goes to this would have changed his strategy of how he examined the witness.
I don't know what to do about that, Judge. I can't help Mr. Rashburn have better strategy.
I don't know what to do about that, Judge. I can't help Mr. Rashbaum have better strategy. What a beautiful way to put it. I can't help poor little Mr. Rashbaum do his job better than this. Oh, isn't she great?
I was real specific with the witness to get that denied. So I'm not sure why the issue wasn't raised at that point.
Judge, I was really specific this morning that the double hearsay related to my motion to eliminate related to Jeffrey Lacasse. You knew what I was talking about.
Hold on. My ears work perfectly well. You don't have to raise your voice. Make your argument, please.
Everyone, sidebar, knew exactly what I was talking about. And we were told, Ms. Kappelman told you as an officer of the court that she was not going down that road. And so when Ms. Adelson was on the stand, I stayed away from it, not to open the door to it. She knew exactly what statement we were talking about. If you tell me you didn't know what statement I was talking about, I'll sit down. I was very specific. I was very specific that it was the double hearsay statement related to Jeffrey Lacasse that we filed our motion to eliminate on. I was very specific that it applied to this and also the Juvia dinner. Those were the words specifically.
Donna Adelson must have been absolutely creaming over this at home in the Icon, right? Yes! Go Dan! Dan! He knows what he's doing. He doesn't need notes. He didn't have any help with his PowerPoint slides.
Out of my mouth back there, because when she asked the questions of Miss Adelson, which were completely appropriate, I thought she might be going down this path. And so the first thing in the morning, we went sidebar so I could stop the charade. So that if the court were going to allow it to come in, I would handle it. She stayed silent. And I've been jumping up and down to try to prevent any possible mistrial twice, and still no mention of it. It's completely unfair, completely improper, and it denies him his constitutional right of due process.
Again, that's why I raised the issue. This goes to the fairness aspect of it. We'll take a brief 5-minute recess. If you have any authority you wish to present, I will entertain it further. Everyone can be seated. Unless either party has additional argument, I am prepared to rule at this point.
I did have one thing I wanted to raise that I'm not sure here before. Ms. Adelson is still under the state subpoena, so I think she could be brought back for whatever additional questions need to be asked.
As to that point, Mr. Kappelman, the ability to extend immunity you have, Mr. Rauschbaum does not, recalls her as a part of her, as a part of the defendant's case. What is your response to that?
I don't know. I mean, we're still in the state's case, so.
Well, the defense can't call a witness within the state's case.
I know, that's a good point. I just wanted to point out that might be a solution. I don't know. It hasn't been properly looked. Questions would be asked that weren't asked. I don't know what that is, but maybe there's something that could be worked out if that was Your Honor's ruling. I think that would be required.
Mr. Rauschbaum, anything else?
Judge, I'll just rest on 9609 Florida rule and its progeny, and Crawford and its progeny. And what I said before.
Very well. Court's ruling is as follows. The defense's motion in limine went to the state's ability as a part of its case in chief to present testimony from Mr. Lacasse that would be hearsay within hearsay. The motion in limine was granted on those grounds. However, the motion in limine and also the court's ruling did not discuss or limit in any way the state's ability to present this information as impeachment. Ms. Adelson, at this point, she has testified, she has denied the statement taking place whatsoever. However, as it goes to fundamental fairness grounds, which are also a part of the ruling that has to be made, the defense did earlier at sidebar ask if this was going to come up in some way. As it related to substantive evidence, I believe the state responded it was not. The state did not make any representations concerning impeachment. I will find that this did affect the defense's ability, or their strategy, at least in examining the witness, as the witness also can invoke her Fifth Amendment right, and through a separate pleading has stated through counsel that she will invoke any Fifth Amendment right unless she is being granted immunity for that testimony. The ability of the defense to address this matter is compounded by the constitutional right of the witness and their inability to call her. On fundamental fairness grounds, I'm not going to permit the impeachment on this topic. You may proffer the testimony from there, and if the state is intending to recall the witness at that point, the issue of impeachment may be revisited. Does everyone understand?
Yes, may I make one clarification for the record?
Go ahead.
Sorry, on the record, we were at sidebar. What I was asked, my understanding of what I was asked is, was I intending to introduce any hearsay within hearsay through Mr. Lacasse? And my answer was that I would not introduce any hearsay within hearsay without exception. I think it was clear what I was intending to do was set up an impeachment through Ms. Adelson by drawing her attention to the specific date and time of the statement and asking her specifically if she made the statement, which she denied. I find it hard to believe that that doesn't alert the defense, in fairness, that that's what I'm intending to do, and that's what I did in the last trial successfully, which the defense in this case was in attendance at. So I think it's unfair to the state, but I understand Your Honor's ruling and we'll be ready to proceed.
Please bring in the witness so we can go through the proffer. Our words are stock and trade. If you are uncertain, Ms. Kappelman, as to what Mr. Rauschbaum was raising, we probably should have clarified it at that point. Please bring in the witness. Also, so we don't have to go through this again, Mr. Rauschbaum, as it pertains to the other rulings in the defense's motion in limine that the court has previously addressed. although they may not be certain rulings pertain to the state's ability to present as substantive evidence. You understand this does not affect their ability to present it as impeachment as it pertains to all of the items that have been ruled on previously. June and Chimda, meaning everything that we've been previously addressing through these motions.
Well, they still have to follow the extrinsic evidence rule, collateral evidence rule.
My point being, something that cannot come in substantively can still be impeached with. You understand this?
Can, yes.
I'm not saying it's necessarily going to happen.
Right.
But so we're not doing this song and dance about any other matters. All right. If we need to have sidebars and you're attempting to clarify something, if you're asking specifically as to impeachment, you need to be specific as well.
Fair enough, Your Honor.
Ms. Dugan, please bring in Mr. Lacasse. You may be seated, Mr. Lacasse.
Councilman, you may finish your sequence of questions on the topic you were starting.
Mr. Lacasse, when we broke, we were discussing a statement made to you by Wendy Adelson on July 13th, 2014 at her residence here in Tallahassee. Do you recall which statement?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and what was that statement?
After asking to speak to me confidentially, she told me that last summer that Charles Adelson had looked into all possible options to take care of the Dan Markel problem, including hiring a hitman, and that it would cost about $15,000. I revised the amount. I said potentially that could have been $50,000. I'm unsure of the amount. The rest of the statement, very confident it's true.
So you weren't sure whether she said 15 or 50.
Right.
But she didn't say 15 or 50. She said one or the other.
She said one number that I thought was 15 when I talked to TPD, and later thought that could have been 50.
Okay, I'm with you. And this statement was made in what context? What was her demeanor?
Well, she asked to speak to me confidentially. She was dead serious about it. It was a chilling statement. I had a reaction to it. My stomach flipped. A little scary, a little weird. So it was a very serious statement she's making.
So clearly not a joke.
No, it was not a joke. There are other jokes in that domain. This was completely distinct and discrete from any joke. This was not funny.
And this statement was made within 5 days of Mr. Markel's murder by a hitman?
That's correct.
What, and the TV fucking... I was going to get you a hitman as a divorce present, but the TV was cheaper, so I got you a TV. You telling me that's funny? I mean, who laughs at that? It's not even a joke. You wouldn't even call that a joke. I don't know what you'd call that. It's not funny at all. It's really boring. That's what it is.
And was this said in any way in the context of the relocation issue?
Well, what preceded her saying that was a discussion of under what circumstances could she or would she leave Tallahassee, and she stated that the only way to leave Tallahassee was if something happened to Danny. That's what led into the statement I just repeated.
All right. Thank you. That's the proffer, Your Honor.
Any cross-examination concerning the subject of the proffer?
Sorry,
Any cross-examination as to the subject of the proffer?
yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
The statement was chilling and serious, right?
Yes,
Did you go to the police?
I did not.
You were so scared about the statement that you didn't alert the police the next day, that night.
I did not,
Why not?
because it was a past tense statement, and I thought Charlie was a scary guy, but it was about something supposedly he did last summer. No, I did not know there was a present case, a present instant threat. I did not know Hitman had visited Tallahassee. I didn't have the context.
So the statement comes out, and you say, all right, I'm not going to call the police. Hey, Wendy, you want to go out tomorrow?
That's not quite how it went.
No, you didn't try to go on a date with her the next day?
No, we did go on a date the next day, and then she cut off all contact without barely talking to me on that date. So I didn't have a lot of time to process it, but it was a shocking enough thing that it took a day or two to process. Also, I had repeated that statement to a friend of mine before the murder, and I didn't get a reaction from her. Like, this is shocking. I sought feedback from a friend who would verify that I made that statement before the murder, and she didn't say, oh, geez, you should call the police. So it wasn't just me. There was another person that I consulted with because it freaked me out, and we decided I decided after talking to her it was past tense. So probably not that dangerous, and we were really wrong. Maybe I should have called the police.
So Charlie Adelson lets you know that he's has friends in the criminal element, the Cuban criminal element, right?
Yes.
And you know that there's a heated dispute between this family. You testified to it today. A heated dispute.
Yes.
About relocation, about divorce.
Well, the dispute's no longer about relocation, but yes, there's an ongoing litigation for sure.
Right. And then Wendy Adelson tells you that this man, who is part of the criminal element, really looked into hiring a hitman.
She did say that.
And you thought, I'm not going to go to the police on that. That's your testimony, right?
That's the decision I made. It didn't really cross my mind because of the past tense nature of it, and I consulted with a friend, bounced it off of her before the murder, and neither one of us thought, oh, geez, let's call the police. So it's possible that Charlie is so dangerous that I should have called the police. Yeah, but I did not.
And so at this point in time, your relationship with Wendy Adelson was really bad, right?
It was hard to tell.
Hard to tell that it was really bad?
It was a roller coaster ride constantly because you referred to the next night, the next day, the 14th. On the 14th, I got a warm, inviting call from Wendy Adelson, eager to spend time with me. Maybe trying to distract me, I don't know. But
okay. Well, we're going to get to the distracting part.
Yeah.
Because that's what this is all about.
But it wasn't the relationship was not in a great spot. I'll concede that to you.
So
yes.
Your testimony is that when this woman is about to break up with you, when she is avoiding you, when you have just been caught going through her phone and her...
How's she avoiding me?
Well,
Mr. Lacasse, you're not here to ask questions.
Yes, sir.
Your testimony is that when you are on the outs with her, which the record will show you were during this time period, that she confides in you the most serious, the most important thing in her life. That's your testimony, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
She has a history of boarding out things that aren't in her own self-interest.
Judge, I would ask that to be stricken from the record. It's unresponsive.
This is just a part of the process. And if you're limited to cross-examination in the process section, we give you the result.
That's fine, Your Honor.
The court's ruling remains the same. You're not to inquire further as to this subject matter. We will revisit later if it comes to it. Please bring back in the witnesses, or the jurors.
Did you go to the police? Amazing. He's going to do it again.
The celebration dinner. I'm sure that's the next one.
Well, one moment, because I don't know what the celebration dinner is all about.
It's in the same motion in Lemonade, Judge.
I don't know what the celebration dinner is all about. Yeah, it's okay, Judge. It's okay.
Number 2, I believe this just concerns statements. It didn't say anything about celebration.
All rise during the report.
One moment. Where is the celebration dinner covered in your motion?
It's in the same motion in Lemonade regarding the hearsay statements. There were several of them. The first one was the statement that we just discussed, and the second one is that Charlie Adelson said that he went to dinner with that she told him that Charlie Adelson said it was a celebration dinner. It's in the same motion in Lemonade.
However, this statement is being directly attributed to your client that was heard by the witness.
No.
Mr. Lacasse, please step down again.
Wow.
It's the same exact issue. It's Wendy Adelson telling him what Charlie Adelson said.
Kappelman response.
Yes, sir. I asked Ms. Adelson about the dinner. She acknowledged there was a dinner. She did vomit at the dinner table, but denied calling it a celebration dinner or hearing Charlie Adelson call it a celebration dinner. I anticipate this witness would indicate that it was referred to as a celebration dinner.
Mr. Rauschbaum,
It's the same issue. You ruled on this issue. It's the same motion winning.
I'm looking at the line now. All right, Ms. Kappelman, I believe we find ourselves in the same position unless you have an argument which differentiates the television from the celebration dinner.
I think I understand what you mean, Judge. I don't have any additional argument other than this is offered for impeachment. It's not hearsay, not covered by the motion. The appropriate grounds were laid, and it's admissible as impeachment.
Do you wish to proffer the celebration dinner by Mr. Lacasse as well?
No, sir. I think my preference at this point, assuming your ruling will be the same on the celebration dinner, is to have Mr. Lacasse step off the stand, proceed with another witness, and revisit this issue after the lunch break.
Very well. Please bring the jurors back in. You may end your examination in front of them, and then Mr. Rauschbaum will have his opportunity. Well, actually, Mr. Rauschbaum, how long do you believe your cross-examination of the witness would take?
I'm a little
In
confused.
front of the jurors.
I'm a little confused. Are you?
The ruling is the impeachment as the celebration dinner is going to be excluded on the same grounds for now. If we need to revisit later, we will, but as to your cross-examination, that will be taking place in front of the jurors on the subject matter that's already been covered, how long do you think that's going to take?
Oh, she's going to stop asking questions of this witness.
I believe she just indicated she would.
Okay. For the issues that we've dealt with just now,
Prior to any proffers and sending the jurors out.
I'm not really sure. Probably maybe 30 minutes.
Right, let's bring them back in. You can start your cross. We'll take the lunch break and then pick up from there. Please bring back in the witness.
All right. You're in the courtroom.
Everyone can be seated. Bailiff, if you can please instruct Mr. Lacasse to come back in. State have any further direct examination for this witness?
No further questions at this time.
You may cross-examine.
Thank you, Your Honor. Professor Lacasse, good morning.
Good morning.
You met Charlie Adelson one time, right?
That's correct.
It was a trip that you and Wendy took down to South Florida for a day after a spring break with the kids that she taught.
Yeah, we went to Immokalee, and then we went over to Miami, or to Fort Lauderdale and Miami, just for the 11th. That's right.
And you had dinner. You said you had dinner on March 11th, 2014, at a place called Yardbird.
That's correct.
You recall Charlie was in his scrubs.
Don't recall that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
And Catherine McBanawa was at that dinner, right?
She was.
And I think you said that she was bringing up stuff about her ex, right?
Not a lot, just a little bit, but she did bring that up, and I recalled it.
Is it fair to say that she was pushing for information at that dinner?
From who?
From Miss Adelson?
I don't recall that.
Well, was she trying to get Miss Adelson to talk about her ex-husband?
I don't recall that.
Do you recall there being a lot of discussion at the dinner about Professor Markel?
Don't recall a lot. It always came up for a minute. It came up in the context of Wendy Adelson's book. Most of it was Charlie talking.
You recall Katie asking questions about how the divorce was going, how he was treating her, where he was. You don't recall any of that happening at the dinner?
Oh. I do not recall any of that.
The only thing you recall is her saying something about her ex-husband.
That's what stuck out. We've had previous legal proceedings where I also could not, I can't, it's a dinner 9 years ago. I don't remember a lot of detail of it. And it wasn't long either. It was just an hour.
Isn't it likely that she was talking about her ex-husband and her problems because there was talk about exes?
I mean, that's pure speculation on my part. I don't recall. I do recall some other things we spoke about, but I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about them or not. They involved your client. They weren't. So I'm in my head trying to figure out how much space was there for other stuff. As I previously testified, most of it was Charlie telling us stories, kind of.
But Katie was clearly wanting to bring up the topic, as you said, about her family situation, correct?
Yeah, but I'm talking about 2 or 3 sentences here. I only recalled that in retrospect because there was a murder, and I thought, oh, geez.
And it was important enough for Ms. Kappelman to ask you about that, right?
Okay, yeah.
Right? So you remember her talking about her family situation, right?
Yeah, and I also remember Charlie talking about a party he had recently attended. There's a few other random things.
Fair enough. I didn't ask, with all due respect, I didn't ask you that.
Okay.
Let's just stick with the family situation.
Okay.
That would be the Korean wedding then, where he got punched out and punished the girl by fucking her in the ass and, making it hurt on purpose. I didn't know that he said that in front of Katie as well. What do you think he did with her?
So Catherine McBanawa was talking about her family situation, correct?
For 2 or 3 sentences, she mentioned that Fredo Garcia, not by name, and the tensions with him, yes. Okay.
You say that Charlie talked in the hot tub or the pool about having connections to the criminal element. That's what your testimony was, right?
Yes, starting with my initial statement to TPD, yes, sir.
And you're talking about your statement to TPD after the murder, right?
3 days after the murder.
And after you thought Wendy Adelson was trying to frame you for the murder, right?
I didn't think that in that interview. Okay. It took me some time to process.
You're aware that you were called in as a suspect for the murder, right?
Yes.
Okay. And after that point in time is when you gave that statement to TPD regarding what Mr. Adelson said. Just yes or no?
After I was called into the police station?
Yes.
Yeah, that's when I gave my statement at the police station.
Right. What I'm making clear is it's not like you had dinner and were in a hot tub with Charlie Adelson and you went back to Tallahassee and gave the statement then, right?
No, I would have no reason to do that.
I understand that, Professor Lacasse. I'm just trying to make it clear for the jury when you gave TPD the statement.
Yeah.
And the answer is you gave him the statement after the murder and after you were called in as a suspect on that murder.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, do you recall texting Charlie Adelson after you met with him?
I texted Mr. Adelson 1 time, yes.
Okay. And do you recall saying to him, "Hey, Charlie, it's Jeff," as in Wendy and Jeff. "Hey, man, thanks for your hospitality the other night. Sorry about the clusterfuck with the cab. It was great to finally meet."
I love that he's laughing at himself and his own lame-ass text. How embarrassing. It's okay, Jeff. We've all done stupid shit like that. Hey, Charlie, it's Jeff. As in, Wendy and Jeff.
You. I can tell how proud you are of your sister. I am too. She's really 1 in a million. Take care, dude, and look forward to seeing you again sometime soon. Do you recall texting him that?
I do recall texting him that.
1 in a million is what Charlie kept saying. He said 1 in 10,000 or 1 in a million. What are the chances she'd be driving down Trescott on that day, at that time?
You like hanging out with the criminal element?
It was my new girlfriend's brother who she was very close with. I've been dating Wendy seriously for 12 days. I didn't think it was right to give a... I was polite rather than honest, let's put it that way. I mean...
Let me ask the question again.
Yeah.
Do you like hanging out with the criminal element?
No, I don't do that.
Did Charlie Adelson text you, or did you text him?
I texted him. I can't remember if that was solicited by Wendy Adelson or not, but I texted him.
It wasn't solicited by Charlie Adelson, right?
No, we never spoke again, though.
Okay. Actually, he texted you back.
Right, I never answered.
And he said it was great seeing you. I'm glad you made your flight. Hopefully we can all hang out soon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you testified that Wendy was a wreck. Hold on 1 second, sorry. One moment, Your Honor. I've lost my place. You testified about some of these divorce filings on direct, correct?
Yes.
And that Wendy, you testified that Wendy was a wreck about him, right?
Yes.
That's not what you thought in the spring of 2014, though, was it?
You're questioning whether... It is what I thought in spring of 2014. I noticed repeatedly her reacting to motions and litigation and getting very, very upset. I'm not saying there was never any good times, but she was very upset when he filed something.
Do you recall sending an email to Wendy Adelson in March 27th of 2014 where you tell her that she's adapting really well to unpleasant circumstances and that she needs to give herself more credit?
That sounds familiar. I would say it got increasingly worse March, April, May, June in terms of her reactions to the entire situation. But I know I was sending that email, yes, trying to encourage my girlfriend at the time, yes.
Oh, really? It got worse. Filings in March, April, and June.
No, I don't know when the last filing was. Her reactions, not just to filings, but the entire situation. Let me clarify that.
Hold on a second. Would it surprise you that there weren't...
You see, Rashbaum's tone in this whole cross-examination is totally, not in service of his goal. His goal is to represent to the jury that Jeff was bitter about being treated like he was by Wendy in their relationship and has chosen to try and get them all and, which is like the most ridiculous thing. But if he'd have shaped it a slightly different way, if he'd have come at it with, instead of accusation, if he'd have come at it with, some level of compassion or understanding and say, not that Jeff decided to be vindictive, but his heartbreak warped his grasp of reality, and he started to see things that weren't there. Not literally, but just started to see things like reshaping things, events in his mind, and connecting dots where there shouldn't be and stuff like that. If he'd have done an angle like that, I think he would have done better out of this witness. The jury hates what he's doing to Jeff. Oh really? That's what you did, yeah? Oh, and you didn't even call the police, yeah? It's like, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. It's just really, really bad taste. And Jeff does a great job at just taking it and knowing that this is bullshit. Look at his face right here.
Any filings
No,
in May or June?
No, I'm aware of that.
Would it surprise you that there's been testimony in this courtroom that actually things got a little better?
Wendy's status didn't get better. My observations of Wendy saw her spiraling downward in that time period is what I was trying to refer to.
Do you recall that in the spring, summer of 2014, Professor Markel asked Wendy's parents to babysit for him?
I didn't know about that, or I don't recall it if I did.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah, it never happened. You notice that didn't come up on the jailhouse calls, right? Not in all those calls we listened to. If you haven't seen that, check that out on our channel page. No mention of this thing of Dan Markel phoning up the grandmother of whom he has filed, a motion to prevent her from visiting with his children without a court-ordered attorney. Yeah, he's going to ask her to babysit. The fuck?
Now, do you recall telling law enforcement that your impression was...
Michelle, why are there no trolls tonight? What about that guy yesterday who was saying a get, a Jewish get, that's not how it works. That's only how it works in TV. There's no threat of violence. That doesn't happen. Maybe that happens in the movies. And then we looked up the case that Dan Markel was working on with those no-nonsense rabbis out of New Jersey, wasn't it? And it was 10 rabbis arrested for kidnapping and mutilating and torturing victims in order to get for divorce. It's like in the same case, proof.
Was that Professor Markel's filing was going to fail?
Yes, I was repeating things I'd heard from Wendy Adelson, so most of that content
Sir, I'm just asking you for yes or no questions.
Okay.
Let me follow up of where you get that information from.
Okay.
I know you have an agenda.
Yes, I told police though. Yes.
Okay. So, you told the police that Wendy wasn't concerned about Professor Markel succeeding with that motion.
No, she was highly anxious.
Did she think that the motion was going to be granted?
I don't think she knew. I think that's what caused the anxiety.
Didn't you tell law enforcement that your impression was that Professor Markel's motion was going to fail?
I did tell law enforcement that, yes.
And didn't you just tell the jury that that impression came from Wendy Adelson?
Well, from my interactions with her and partially my own opinion, to clarify. But yes, that's true. Yeah.
You also told law enforcement that everyone in the legal community agreed with that assessment.
I didn't speak to everyone in the legal community.
Well, let's read your interview then. And let's see if it refreshes your recollection. One moment, Your Honor. You don't recall being recorded where you said, and I quote, everyone in the legal community agreed with that assessment. At 2 o'clock on 7/23/14, interview part 1, at 34:35 in the interview. You don't recall saying that?
Can you give me the date in the interview again, please?
7/23/2014, interview part 1, and 3/6/2015, you reiterated it at 34 minutes and 35 seconds into the recording. You don't recall saying that?
Vaguely, I do recall saying something like that. I'm a non-lawyer trying to figure out this situation. Getting different messages from different people.
I have no further questions right now, Your Honor.
Any redirect examination?
At the time you were in the hot tub with the defendant, did you know that he was a criminal element? I mean, okay, let me rephrase it. Did you know he was conspiring to commit the murder of Dan Markel?
I had no idea.
All right, and when you were at dinner with he and Catherine McVanowa, did you know that she was conspiring to commit the murder of Dan Markel?
I had no idea.
So you didn't know when you were in the hot tub that you were hanging out with a criminal element in that regard?
No.
Nothing further.
Because you may step down, you may be recalled at some point. Members of the jury, we're going to take our lunch break at this point. Once again, I'm going to remind you not to discuss the case with each other or anyone else. Do not look at any news coverage or discuss the matter with any friends or family. Enjoy your lunch break. We will get started once again at 1:15. Please report back by 1:10.
Okay, let's just have one more look at Wendy's boyfriend. Can't believe that guy's presentation. Onboarding is vital to your business. Your greatest asset is your staff. Yeah. It's like, you know what? That's the kind of presentation someone puts together when they write a presentation for dummies, you know? Just empty, stupid. Blue sky thinking is your greatest asset. You know, these fucking management buzzwords. You know, man, what a load of shit. And why does he have to look like this guy? I mean, he looks exactly like that. So weird. You know, and poor Ben and Lincoln have to spend time with him, this guy here. The fuck? Send them to Canada.
Hi, my name is George Estrada, and I'm a strategist for the nonprofit team at Amazon Web Services.
So he's a strategist for the non-profit team at Amazon Web Services, okay? A strategist. He's an strategist. A strategy.
A question I often get when developing a cloud strategy is on whether one should
Oh, fuck off.
Profit team at Amazon Web Services. A question I often get when developing a cloud strategy is on whether one should think of a move to the cloud as a chance for staff reduction. The short answer is no. Moving to the cloud is not a one-step move that.
Is he just practicing, or has this actually been released somewhere? Does everyone see how bad this is? Well, thank you, Jill Jane. for the super sticker. That's very kind of you, Jill Jane.
Should think of a move to the cloud as a chance for staff reduction? The short answer is no. Moving to
nobody would listen to this guy.
the cloud is not a one-step move that ends with the migration into the cloud. Instead, it's an element of a broader strategy that is laying down the foundation for scaling, automation, and innovation. So rather than looking at a move to the cloud as staff reduction, see it as an opportunity for a role optimization. Arguably, the most critical resource in your organization is your staff. The trust they've earned with customers and the institutional knowledge they have gained over the years is irreplaceable. Moving to the cloud allows you to amplify.
Then why is it arguably? Arguably.
Your existing staff's experience by leveraging the scores of managed services available from cloud providers and partners. You can free up your staff from low-value tasks, allowing them to focus on tasks that deliver actual value and impact to your members and their overall experience.
Low-value tasks? What the fuck do you think this is, George?
2019 survey by IDC found that moving to the cloud increased existing staff's productivity and could be valued at an annual average of 85,000 per every 100 users, or about 3.5 million per organization. So I recommend that as you develop your cloud strategy, you include role optimization and or repurposing as a value of the digital transformation effort. Ask your vendors and partners how their managed service offerings add value to your staff and your customers. And if you'd like to reach out to me, you can email me at the email below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Oh yeah, you'd love to hear from us. Okay. I think we're going to have to go, guys. It's a short one tonight, but we have been running now consistently for how long? Continually for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days straight. That's quite a stretch. 12 days straight with no break. And I know you all probably think I only fucking do these 4 hours and that's it. No, it's all day, every day. It's all day, every day, and it's going to be the same tomorrow. And we got to go to the vet. I've got to go to the vet tomorrow. So all wish us good luck with that. Something's up with her. Fucking scratching and panting. She's settled down now. But, yeah. See if we can get some nice lotion for her or something. That'd be nice. Anyway, we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow. You know the score. Something will be playing. We'll be talking about something. Hope you come back and join us. Subscribe to the channel, like, share, leave a comment. Join us on Discord at the True Crime Metrix Discord. Links in description with social networks. Support links if you want to throw us a couple of bucks to support the channel and all the work we do. That'd be great. What else? Merchandise. Also links for merchandise. That's in the description for the video. Okay. I mean, there's not much of a summary. Jeff Lacasse. So, I mean, what we should have been keeping an eye on, I suppose, which we didn't really do, was will he be asked different questions when Donna Adelson is the defendant? He didn't spend much time with them. He did call her quite rude at some point to generalize him. I think Jeff's testimony will largely be unchanged. Donna's trial, God, how many days now? 7 days in its jury selection. Okay, so we'll be back tomorrow, guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for super chatting. Thanks for being here with us, True Crime Metrix. Allergies. I hope it's just allergies. I really hope it's just allergies. But she's never had allergies before, really, that I've noticed. I mean, I guess they, you know, I mean, we did move. I mean, this is her first summer in this exact location, but we only lived down the road last year. It's not like there's a different pollen or dust. So I don't know. Good night, Acapella. Thanks for coming. Michelle, thanks for coming, babe. Amy. Good night. Everyone else. See you later. See you tomorrow. Okay. Where's our thing? Okay. Many thanks to everybody. And see you tomorrow. Okay. True Crime Metrix out. Yeah, that is one thing, Michelle, that since the van broke down, we haven't been to the sea or the river, so she hasn't swam, and she usually swims pretty much every day. So, and I haven't had time to fix the van, but I do think I found a real cheap car, so we might have a new Metrix mobile on Thursday. Look forward to that. Alright, catch you later, guys. Bye.